tomorrow brings. Would it make you feel something so real, like you could speak your own mind and whisper your wildest dreams?
I was cast in the film The Glimmer Man, which starred Steven Seagal and Keenan Ivory Wayans. I was working the first day of the movie, first day, and John Gray, the director, comes in to my trailer and says, "So, how's everything going?" I go, "Oh, fine, John, fine. We're having a problem." I go, "What's wrong?" He says, "Well, Steven Seagal has had a spiritual sort of crisis and sort of a spiritual awakening. He decided that he doesn't want to kill people anymore in movies."
I can't fight, man. What do you mean you can't fight? It's a fine time to tell me now.
Warner Brothers is very upset. They say, "Steven, I understand what you're doing, but you dance with who brung you. You kill people really good. And in this movie, you have to kill people." And he doesn't want to do it. The problem is, in the scene, I was playing a serial killer, and the whole scene is about him killing me. So John says, Steven Seagal is going to try to convince you not to kill you in this scene. Don't get into a conversation with him. Whatever you do, don't talk to him. He has to kill you. I mean, it's the first day of shooting. This is very difficult for all films and actors. You know, they want to see good footage the first day. I said, well, I'll steer clear of Steven. So we got called to the set, and that was the first time I met Steven on the set. And he came up to me, and he had that cool persona that, "So, what do you think about this scene?" And I was saying, well, Steven, it's a pretty hard-hitting scene. In this scene, by the way, I play a serial killer, and I grab a priest, and I threaten to blow his head off, and then Steven comes in and ends up murdering me. So I said, Steven, it's a pretty intense scene. He says, I think it would probably be better if I don't kill you. I said, I hear you. And Steven says, I think it's just bad that we keep putting this violence into the world. I mean, we're creating a sicker and sicker society by putting this kind of thing out into the world. I said, I understand that, Steven, but this case may be an exception. I'm looking at my life as a serial killer, and I feel I'm trapped in this broken soul that I'm inhabiting. And it would really help me in terms of my reincarnational development if you could kill me, and then I would be able to leave this body and actually transcend into a better life, into a better body. You would actually be helping me. So I would be giving you a helping hand? I said, oh, you'd be giving everybody a helping hand. You'd be removing evil from the world. You'd be giving me a new chance at life in a new body sometime in the near future. I never thought of it that way. All right, I'll kill you in this scene.
This movie is funny every time I watch it. The chemistry between the two leads is great. I love the dialogue and their line delivery. They should have made another movie together. Some people like this movie, Murray.
Some people like to molest children.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't make it right.
Jesus. This is probably more like some people like pineapple on pizza.
No, I think
you're going straight up fucking crimes.
By the way, can people shut the fuck up about pineapple on pizza? It's fine. Who cares?
I don't know. It's
people get outraged by it.
It's the debate for boring people. Like I see it all the time in my like live stream Twitch feeds and all that shit. Everybody's like, "Oh, what are you going to think about pineapple?"
Is that a good icebreaker?
I
Is
guess
that how you
so.
can judge a person by asking them that question?
Well, now that it's in the air, Murray, how do you feel about it?
Don't care either way. I wouldn't ask for it, but if it was on it, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I've had it before. It's a good treat.
No anchovies is all I ask.
I can't do the anchovies.
Big hairy, salty fish.
Yeah.
Who the fucking came up with that idea?
Italians, man.
Fucking Italians.
That's before
Fuck, you'll get my opinion on Italians all next month, by the way.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert.
Got a lot of Italian movies coming out.
we'll get into that at the end of the episode. Griff, I got some. It's been the past few weeks. It's been nothing but negativity from us.
Yeah.
I have some positivity, not with my life. My life is still miserable.
Okay.
But
There's
the show.
There's a squirrel watching us. Do you see this squirrel? What is that?
He loves our show.
Is it? Are we sure it's not a Bezos camera?
I think he's officially our mascot now.
Oh, cool. Positivity.
Stevie the squirrel.
Stevie the squirrel.
Griff, we kind of fallen off a little on the podcast front. It's a little. I was really disappointed with the reaction to Raw Deal. We kind of got a Raw Deal on that episode.
We got a little bit of Raw
because it's a
Deal
great
on that.
episode.
It's fantastic.
It's not horrible, but I want more. Go listen to that and then come back to us.
People are a little too busy going onto the YouTube right now.
However, yes, thanks to me shaming you into putting more stuff up on YouTube, because it's been like you go 6 months with nothing, then you put like 10 things up, and then 6 months with nothing, which is not a way to build a fucking show, by the way. Griff put up what is our piece de resistance of our show, our mechanic episodes.
So we've talked about doing this bit more with remakes and everything. We still have yet to do it with another movie.
Well, I think the next we'll have Jack come back on and we'll do the Red Dawn remake. I think that'll be the next.
That could be a good one.
Yeah.
It could be good to do the other Bruce Willis Bronson movie that was ruined.
Other Bruce Willis Bronson? What?
Bruce Willis did a Bronson movie, and he probably ruined it. I think it came out recently.
Oh, yeah.
Death Wish,
it was
right?
Death Wish. Yeah.
So that could be fun. But obviously, we can't do that back to back.
No.
So we'll have to figure out something around there.
But what the fuck's wrong with you people? Yeah, because it's weird because our SoundCloud listeners, well, our podcast listeners, I should say SoundCloud, our podcast listeners and our YouTube listeners are diametrically opposed as far as what they like and they dislike. Except when it comes to the mechanic. When it first started, Bronson was kicking ass. I was like, finally, somebody with taste that gets it. And then slowly but surely, Statham took off. 3-1.
It's 3-1 now.
1,500. It's only been up for less than a week.
Yeah.
1,500 for fucking Statham.
That's not good.
500, a little over, like 550 now for Bronson.
Right. I want negative numbers for Statham, and I want all that positivity going.
But here's the positive angle of it, Greg, because this episode's all about positivity. When the Sensei comes on the show, he just fills us with joy.
Well, he gives us all
serenity.
Those Chinese tinctures and everything.
Yes, I'm chewing on a deer penis as we talk.
I got an antelope penis.
Oh wow, those are endangered.
Yeah.
So don't worry, it's attached to a live antelope, so the antelope's not going to die. But I was like, oh my God, I just felt a sinking feeling. I put up a poll. I let the people decide. We're unlike America, we're a democracy here.
A real democracy.
And I said, oh look, 3-1. And are we going to have to do the mechanic resurrection? And I put up a poll.
Oh.
I put up, yes, Statham is the best. No, Bronson is the best. And I got to say, just as I was about to lose faith in my fellow man, Bronson is fucking blowing it out the water. We have dodged a bullet. There's still, well, by the time you guys hear it, it'll be over with, but there's still a little less than 24 hours on the poll. Okay. But it's like 20 to 3.
There might be a dump. That's how they stole election from Trump. There was a big dump.
Is that it?
Yeah.
So, well, it's rigged.
Yeah, got to be careful the 11th hour. That's when the dumps come in.
But not only that, I heard the other day from our friend across the pond, Stuart. Stuart, how you doing? He confirmed, we mentioned it on the last episode, he confirmed that, yes, Queen Elizabeth II was, in fact, listening to our Superman 4 episode as she knew she was going to die. So she's like, I want to go out like blissfully.
Yes.
And that was the last thing she said was like, those guys are great.
They just great. The serenity, the peace that washes over your body when you listen to a Stewart episode of Golan-Globus Theater, because he just brings the class up so far.
I was thinking Oz, but he does a good job too.
Yeah.
So much of a good job that he was knighted for that episode.
That's incredible.
In fact, we have to start calling him Sir Stuart.
Sir Stuart.
Of course, we could have been knighted, but we're not citizens of England.
Sure.
You have to be
They said they could fake up the paperwork.
They were thinking about changing it just for us. But we said, no, tradition. We believe in tradition.
Tradition. You guys still have a monarchy for tradition. We're not going to fucking ruin that. I mean, come on.
Right.
Just go ahead. Never take over Timberlake Stadium again.
No, don't ever. That was the agreement.
Our venue.
Well, they can do it anytime they want, except for Thursdays. That Thursdays is our day.
Yes.
Well, not our day. It's England's day, to be honest with you.
Yeah, really.
I mean, God save the podcast is what they say. In fact, and I just want to say, we're flattered. We're not going to co-king your country. All right? I mean, leave it to Charles. Give him something to do.
Do we have any more positivity, or do we need to get a couple
I'll
words
probably remember later, but right now I have no positive.
Nothing. Good. So what you heard there when we opened up, Murray, let's talk about that, because that was Grandmaster Sensei's not Punani song. I don't remember what song it was. It was like Love of My Life.
Girl, It's All Right. Wasn't that what it's called?
Girl You Want. No, that's a Devo song. I can't remember.
Girls, Girls, Girls?
If you want to see a great heart-wrenching music video.
If you want to see great lighting on a guitar, hand-playing guitar.
God, does it not look like he is faking every little bit of that?
Well, that's his life, I think. Yeah.
I think so. So I'll put that in the show notes because everyone should probably see that. And then we also open it up, so you heard a little bit of a story there behind the scenes. This was the character who plays Christopher Maynard.
Horrible serial killer name, by the way.
Because he's got no middle name in there.
Right.
What middle name would you give him?
Christopher Jackson Maynard.
Yeah, Chris Jackson Maynard. That's good. That's good. Christopher Robert Maynard.
Christopher Robbins.
Christopher
Maynard.
Robbins. He could have been the Winnie the Pooh
Big
killer.
Winnie the Pooh guy.
Yeah.
Well, they're doing a Winnie the Pooh horror movie.
Oh, that's right. I think I saw something about that.
Don't watch that.
Is Rob Zombie getting that one too?
No, I don't know who's involved with it. It's public domain now. We could do one if we wanted. I'm thinking about Winnie the Pooh porn.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
Tiger, like fucking, like Winnie the Pooh. You know, he gets stuck in shit, because he's a gluttonous fucking tub of shit.
He's always getting stuck in trees.
He gets stuck in a tree, and then Tigger just fucking rails him.
True visionary across from me.
Winnie the Pooh.
Oh God!
It's a
damn
chick.
it!
All right, let's get back to the Sensei.
Okay, so we heard an interview. This was Christopher Maynard. I forget the guy's name. It's like Jeffrey Tuborowski.
It's Christopher Robbins Maynard.
Yeah, no, I forget the actor's name.
Who cares?
So he's doing the behind the scenes. He's telling us, and it was very interesting to learn because this movie came out in '96.
Okay, so this came out after Under Siege. Did this come out after Under Siege 2?
I don't know where.
Was this the beginning of the end, like for his fame?
Dude, it's so hard to read his filmography because there's so many fucking movies, and they all sound the same. They all have 3-word names. The Glimmer Man.
Yeah. Was this also the movie where he started working with Jim Henson Productions with like the marionette work with his action scenes? Or did he do that earlier?
I mean,
it's seamless. It almost looks like he's really moving his body, but it is like marionette strings.
It was probably when he had the Jim Henson crew working because those guys are fucking amazing. And
they make him look almost human.
Yeah, his actions almost look human, more human than a human almost in some ways. That's what he would tell you.
Zombie,
yeah, I brought it back. But yeah, so we learned he didn't want to do violence anymore.
Well, because he's a Buddhist.
Yeah,
his character is a Buddhist as well.
His character's a Buddhist.
He comes and goes, by the way. Is Buddhism.
He likes to pretend he's very Asian in real life too. And then
he is. He's part Japanese.
What's interesting is that that's right. He did grow up in Japan.
No, he didn't grow up. He moved there. He's a blues man from the streets of Detroit, dude. How can you forget that?
Lansing. I haven't been to Lansing in a while. I'm in Detroit in a while, so I just keep forgetting that fact.
Yeah. How do you think he learned how to play the blues?
I saw those fucking string plucking skills in the music video, and the only Detroit players play like that.
Yeah, it's a certain skill set that only we have.
Hand Eminem a guitar, that's what'll do. Yeah. That actually worked on a level I didn't anticipate. Yeah. Murray, we're anticipating this is going to be a 3-hour content movie.
At least. Look, we don't hide the behind the scenes shit. We watch a movie, we take notes. This show is 90% improvised, by the way, but we still have to take notes so we're not going back and forth like, oh wait, remember this, that. So we take notes so we can go chronologically know what's happening.
Right.
Normally,
we still get lost often.
Oh yes. Normally, it's 2 2.5 pages tops for us.
And for a 90-minute movie,
Yeah.
it is maybe 2.5. Like, it has to be a really fucking plot-heavy movie.
This fucking movie, 90-minute movie, by the way.
90 minutes.
4.5 pages of notes. This movie is mind-blowing.
Both Murray texted
I was
me,
exhausted after watching this 90-minute movie.
and it's because Seagal punched it up to the fucking moon with stupid
Griff,
jokes.
if you're doing a movie about serial killers, you have to put some comedy in it.
And this is like some fucking, I mean, it didn't go full on pineapple on the pizza molestation, level like Murray was talking
He's not
about.
as good as me.
But my God, we have people being crucified, bloody murder,
Eyes
everywhere.
gouged out.
Yeah, crown of thorns, everything.
Yeah, well, he's a serial killer. He's got to have everyone. How many serial killers really have a gimmick? Like, it seems like every movie you have to have a gimmick.
Yeah.
How many real life serial killers had a gimmick? They set up some tableau, some kind of diorama.
It seemed like a 70s, 60s thing, That
Was
era,
it?
50s
I don't.
through the
I just think
70s.
serial killers just kill people and then throw them in a dumpster.
Well, think about all the stories that are coming out on Netflix now because the fucking thirsty girls need their true crime and they want to see John Wayne
what
Gacy.
is your? That's a good point. What is your opinion on serial killers? Yay or nay? Are you interested in them or not?
Oh,
Your spit's flying all over.
I'm
from
sorry.
you to
I'm
drink
just
something.
fucking salivating here to talk about Seagal movie. I'm sorry. I'm getting my mic
We'll get
cover
to
in the
that.
way here. I don't know. I've watched like a couple of them. It's interesting to hear about like the life they led before they like started murdering people. Like I watched the one about I think it was Dahmer who blew up the building in Oklahoma City.
No, Jeffrey Dahmer. First of all,
people?
Oklahoma City was not a serial killer. That was a terrorist attack. That was Timothy McVeigh.
Oh, okay, I watched that thing. So I got it all wrong. So that'll tell you.
Dahmer
Does
was
that
a
tell?
cannibal. There's actually, I guess, a new show on about his life. Like it's like a drama. It's not like a.
Does that answer the question though?
Yeah,
the fact that I
here's the
confused it
right
with a terrorist?
answer. All right, serial killers are garbage. They should not be. There should be not shows about them. When they get captured, let the shrinks pick their minds, and as soon as they're done with them, make them dig their own grave, shoot them in the back of the head, throw them in there, let the next serial killer bury them.
Oh, okay.
Serial killers are fucking trash. There's nothing interesting. They're all the same fucking story.
Yeah.
Fuck these guys.
I think it's interesting because it's like
And I just can't stand these people who are like ghouls that like love this shit. Like, you've led a sheltered life if you're super into serial killers.
Yeah.
You need some violence in your life.
And now that we're in the era of like mass shootings and everything, it's like you hear these people saying, "I was inspired."
I think that's what's killing off serial killers. You notice there's no serial killers anymore because they're mass shooters now.
right.
No style at all.
No style at all. You want the style?
Yes. If you're gonna kill somebody, at least do it like some passion.
If you get some headlines about the pineapple pizza killer, just know that it's Tim Murray.
No, because I don't have a problem with it. It would be one of these losers we're talking about that has an issue with
They
it.
show up at the door.
No,
with the pineapple pizza.
it would be that guy on Twitter that tried to burn me.
Oh,
he would
God.
be the pineapple
You
killer.
brought it up a couple weeks ago too, I think.
Yes, this guy. You know, I'm universally loved on Twitter, as I should be.
This is our hope to keep the episode short. It's gone.
No, it's going to be over 3 hours. Get the catheter out right now. All right?
Fucking take the Adderall so you can focus.
Because this 4.5 pages. You're taking this ride with us or not?
You didn't show up for fucking Schwarzenegger.
Right, which was a great episode.
So
Stuart said, Tim, great fucking Schwarzenegger impression. I said, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think we like even as egomaniacs like us, we still like to get some positive feedback. I'm not going to talk. You know what? I'm not going to talk about that asshole that I brought up. Go back to your story.
No, I had no story. It was just we're gonna have I was saying that they're saying all this how people like put on like talk about the mass shooters and everything and make a big story about it. It's encouraging the other ones, and when the other ones do their shooting, they're always doing like their little live feeds afterwards. They're like, I'm inspired by X, Y, and Z, and it's like, is it feeding it? Same with the Tide Pod thing. You heard about kids eating Tide Pods?
All I'm hearing about is people putting NyQuil on their chicken.
Yes, NyQuil chicken's the new thing, and what I was listening to some people talk about is like, the news needs to stop running with these stories. Because if you check around every hospital, there is maybe a case of it, not an epidemic.
Well, Griff, we have 15 hours of local news to fill every day now.
And we have to put NyQuil chicken in there.
We can't just show an old movie like we did when I was a kid.
Why aren't we showing old movies?
I don't know why. I guess because they have to pay for it. I don't know.
Kids need to get home and watch like fucking.
That was my childhood, the 4 o'clock movie.
4 o'clock.
I told you, the fucking Planet of the Apes week, Godzilla week. It was great.
He was a happy kid until they took off the 4 o'clock movie.
I was, because he got rid of it, yeah, in like mid-'80s, something like that.
And then he started knocking on doors
Then
with poison pineapple pizza. The PPP killer.
Never found, you haven't caught me yet. Is there a statute of limitations on serial killing?
I mean, they'd have to prove it.
Why hasn't anyone thought about, I mean, people know the pun, serial killer.
Yeah.
Someone dressed up like Count Chocula and kill people. Something like that. Or just drown someone in milk. Why don't people kill people more like a Batman villain would do it? Fucking hell.
This is going to an interesting place.
That would make me interested in serial killers.
Yeah.
Like if they were doing elaborate Joker, and I'm talking about Cesar Romero Joker, the cool Joker.
Good Joker, yeah.
Not the fucking incel Joker that we keep getting over and over again now.
Man, incel Joker sucks.
I mean, fucking Cesar Romero Joker was so cool. I didn't know till I was like 20 that he had a mustache. I was like, what? It was like he became the Joker so much I didn't even see Cesar Romero.
Just so you know, you cannot drown a person in milk because that is a sexual fetish, and so it is just always assumed that the person, did that to himself.
Oh, that's how you get away with it.
That's how you get away with it. So you can be
open and shut case, drowning by
the
milk.
kink killer. That could be you.
Lactophilia.
Remember, we got to stop this.
We got to get into
this
movie because it's a great movie. Well, it's not a great movie, but it's going to be a great episode on a movie.
If we can remember a quarter of the jokes that are in this movie, it would be fantastic.
Yeah. If he could deliver half the jokes to make them sound funny.
I mean, that guy's review I read.
He's mumbled half of
right.
them.
Oh my God, Seagal is mumbling.
His soft whisper voice.
Can't stand it.
He would have been great in Rollerball. Seagal.
As who?
As Jonathan E., because he whispers.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. He's got the body and the physique to be menacing on the court, too. Yeah. Like James Caan, I could see him being agile and everything, but...
Yeah, he's kind of a little guy.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, his little perm.
Oh, my God, the Sensei with a perm?
Oh, my God, there's no way. There's the Seagal laws for a Seagal movie, and it's got
to be straight silky samurai hair.
Straight silky, ponytail, tight name chin in the back. Yeah. And then, of course, he's got to have a kid. He's got to do a prayer with them.
No, show a spiritual side.
Probably married a couple times. No. It still seems like a good relationship with the ex, but it actually isn't. Yeah. That's what was shoot into this movie.
Yeah.
Fuck, we got to stop doing this. Let's just do this in the movie.
Yes. Is there any background we need to know about this movie? I did my crack research of glancing at IMDb and nothing interesting came up.
Well, I think you get it pretty much all from the little interview. That's a good little snippet into the movie.
Yeah, this was when Sensei Seagal had a spiritual awakening, and he wanted to put more Buddhism and peacefulness into it. It goes along. Didn't the one movie we did, the environmental one, come out at the same time?
Yeah, On Deadly Ground was like a year or two before
that was very spiritual, too.
Exactly. So it's a trend. It's definitely happening. And also something that you're always like, nobody does this anymore. And I actually watched a movie yesterday with some boobies and full frontal in it and butts in it. From like 2014.
Wow, what was that?
Ex Machina.
Oh, that's robot sex.
But they were humans.
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Yeah.
That's our future, people, fucking robots.
We're just going to be fucking robots and thinking, am I really a good person fucking a robot?
No, that's a whole... That's why there's another tangent. Why I would I'm not into, like, the sex toy, like the fleshlight shit.
Yeah.
Here's why. Because if it feels as good as a woman... then what's the point? You don't need women anymore. But what happens is then you go into this weird world where you just basically lose your mind. You don't want to go into that world. Then you're like getting a $2,000 sex doll, and you don't want to go there.
Right.
So just use your hand, guys. Use your hand.
I like your reasoning for just using your hand.
Well, it's cheaper.
It is cheaper. That's
and
true.
like I said, you're not going to go into this weird. It's like the hentai world or whatever. You're not going to go there.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't go there.
Use your hand.
Don't go full hentai. A lesson from the Pineapple Pizza Killer.
Shh. All right, let's get into this fucking movie because it's going to be 5 hours, and we don't even have a guest. We're going to break a fucking record. I mean, we've had over 3 hour episodes with guests.
Yeah,
we let one other person talk, but
go ahead and just spot where we take breaks in the movies. I'm going to try to edit it. So
you edit and just like piss going into the toilet so they know we're taking a pee break?
And you know what I'll do is when we're taking a break, I'll write it down and I'll just put in a slap fight of Steven Seagal.
That would be a perfect segue. Yeah.
That would be a perfect segue.
All right, people. Put in the get your catheter.
Barney's going to get his catheter.
Bring it here, buddy. Get your catheters ready because this is going to be a long one. It's Sensei Steven Seagal in The Glimmer Man.
To those he pursued, he was known only as the Glimmer Man. They'd see nothing but shadows. Then a glimmer. Then he's always followed his own path and worked alone until now.
Mr. Lovebeads, you're gonna have to seek higher enlightenment somewhere else.
They don't see eye to eye.
This guy is weird. Drop the gun. I can't fight. This is not the time I want to hear that. I got soul! For a minute there, I forgot you told me you can't fight. It's against my religion, I'm gonna do this.
And I'm super bad. And they use different methods.
Once in a while you should cry because, like, it cleanses the soul. If I need a cleansing, I have a bran muffin.
But on this case,
Pray that we hurry up and find this killer so I don't have to be with your crazy ass much longer.
opposites do attract.
He's a little country. I'm a little bit rock and roll. Why don't we just get you some red boots and a cape and you can fly around the city and stop all the crime?
Take your little sensitive ponytail and your little sissy beads and get out of here.
Warner Brothers presents Steven
I
Seagal,
have something that'll completely clear up that bruise on your forehead. What bruise? That bruise.
Keenan Ivory Wayans,
請飲茶，嗰出戲好苦㗎。
Do you know I'm black? You learn well, grasshopper.
the Glimmer Man.
Everybody, welcome back. Greatest fucking trailer of all time and space. The Glimmer Man. Mid-90s Steven Seagal, probably the best because now he's the action man, but he's also the funny man.
And also the spiritual man.
And also, every single base is covered. You know the triangle of success where you have like money, cost, optimization, or whatever, and you only get two of them? No, with Steven Seagal, you get the whole fucking triangle.
And what better movie to start your comedic career on than a movie about serial killers?
With,
The funniest of all the Wayans.
I mean, come on, in Living Color, he was a fucking god on
I'm
going to
Get You Sucker is a funny movie.
Is it really?
It's got Steve James in it.
Steve James is in it. That's
yeah,
right.
and it's got all the classics. It's got Jim Brown. It's got our man Ike Turner. Not Ike Turner. I'm thinking Truck Turner, who was played by...
Oh, yeah.
Chef. What's his fucking name?
God damn it. Isaac Hayes.
Isaac Hayes. Sorry, Isaac Hayes. God bless you.
God bless you. Well, he did get pretty crazy at the end.
Yes, Bernie Casey's in it too. It's a funny parody. It's a Naked Gun version of blaxploitation.
Really?
Yeah, you've never seen it?
No, I've never seen it.
Steve James plays Kung Fu Joe, I think is his name. Who I think originally was going to be Jim Brown, and then Jim Brown said, "I don't want to do it," so they put Steve James in the role.
You know, I want to put a shout out there because we've been doing this lately. Somebody after I posted the Black Caesar episode, they were like, "This man's fucking awesome," because I had a picture of course, Fred Williamson up there.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're goddamn right, he is."
Oh, I thought he was talking about us.
Oh no.
Or me, at least.
Yeah, just you. No, of course.
I'm just happy to get a positive comment.
You get that eye candy up there on the screen? Fred Williamson in a fucking suit, pinstripe suit?
Yeah, he didn't even have the mustache in that movie. Did he ask for the recipe for a Black Caesar?
Oh,
salad?
man. I think it's coming. I think they're working on that.
You know what's coming? This Glimmer Man.
We got credits rolling already, so you know it's over.
They're trying so hard to be like David Fincher 7. This is Seagal trying to do 7.
Oh, was that out this year?
I think it came out before that, a little before that.
Was
didn't
that
it?
really a big cultural impact movie?
Yeah, it was. Not for me, but it was, I think, yeah.
'Cause I know-
Fincher definitely has a style that people copied.
Okay. Because I know people still talk about it. What's in the box?
Yeah.
It hit. It's me.
Well, I like a lot of things. It was big for a couple years. And then,
It's still very
much like grunge. Grunge was big for 2 years, and people act like it changed music.
Okay.
But,
just mean
it
it's still something that's on the tip of people's tongues.
Yeah.
Even so it did a good job. It did its job. It's still talked about.
Well, it was fresh in the mind when Glimmer Man came out.
That's
I'm
what
assuming. I don't remember what year.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
what-
sure it came out before.
That's what's more interesting is how it did in the times as opposed to
And
something-
because of the success of Silence of the Lambs, all 90s movies were serial killer movies.
yeah.
Every thriller was.
Yeah, so it's not just fucking thirsty girls that love serial killers. I mean,
Well, for a while, but
America.
thirsty girls stayed loyal to it. Thank God for middle-aged white suburban women. They keep the serial killer business going.
I don't know what it is about the suburban life.
They live a boring life. They need excitement.
Do they want to be serial killed?
I think some of them do.
Yeah.
I know one of them that does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope at
But it's
some
the fantasy, obviously. They don't really want to.
Right.
I mean, I know women who want to be eaten, like cannibalized, fantasy-wise.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Credits are rolling, Murray.
Yeah, and we're getting gruesome death scenes of the family man. I was going to say family guy, the family man killer. And he crucifies people to purify their souls and send them to heaven.
Right.
So he sets up like a diorama. He shoots them, which is very weird. I always think of serial killers stabbing people.
I was just going to say it's very strange because he's taking it biblical. He's fucking mounting people by their hands.
I think he would stone them or
sort
something.
of crowns. He's doing all this fucking Stone Age shit, but he's using a pistol with a silencer and a fucking laser sight on it.
Well, you got to use a laser sight. You might miss.
So 1996 was the fucking need to have a laser scope on your gun was so strong that even the biblical killers had them.
Yeah, and so he gouges their eyes out, and then he crucifies them against the wall. Not even on a crucifix, just at the wall.
Right, which is
And
interesting.
he kills families. That's why he's the family man
So
killer.
clearly this guy's a carpenter, though, because he knows how to find a stud. Those people
Well,
wouldn't hang
well,
on drywall.
You know who else was a carpenter? Jesus.
Ew.
It all makes sense.
Okay, so we
Well, he
know.
just had a stud finder.
Come on. I've watched normies try to use a stud finder, and it is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's funny.
It is. So you've seen it too.
Yeah.
So we know that our family man killer, not Family Guy killer, is probably a carpenter. He's done some
He
work.
knows his way around a stud finder.
That's right. All right. So
at the end of the intro, by the way, the person who did the Full Moon production music for this scene, he got the job because he taught Seagal how to play guitar. According to IMDb. I don't know if that's true. But, yeah. So,
what are you talking about? He learned when he was 6 on the porches of Detroit.
well, yeah, but this is like his old blues sensei.
Oh, maybe what you mean is he taught this guy blues, and he gave him a job after he taught him the blues because he saw promise in him.
Could be.
Could be.
The last kill we see is the first kill of this movie. It's a woman and her husband in like a hotel, or they at their home, or where the fuck
I
were
couldn't
they?
tell where they were at. It was the credits, man.
We know. Yeah, I didn't know we were supposed to pay attention to this. I thought it was just a generic like setting this mood.
Yeah.
But no, this woman gets killed who plays not a very important role, but she does play a role later on. She's killed. We see the laser scope hit her forehead, cut away.
Police headquarters.
I wasn't paying attention, but I did not notice a hooker being brought in. Was there a hooker being brought in?
There was a hooker being brought in. There was
Oh my God, we're going to do a Kojak episode. There's transvestite cops all throughout the background. They're like constantly shaving their faces with electric razors. Look for that next week. But yeah, you saw them. Okay. I was worried.
No, I know. As soon as I see a police headquarters, I'm like, Murray's going to be fucking looking for his ladies.
I wasn't, though. I didn't see it. But thank you for...
But this is where we get introduced. Everybody, welcome to the very first joke of this movie.
I didn't pick up on this joke. Now that you wrote it down,
Murray,
it makes sense.
you were shitting on me. You're like, how did you miss this? How did you miss this? All throughout this, you're going to see that
I was worried about the plot.
You missed some stuff, and I missed some stuff.
Well, yeah, because Sensei punched the script up so much, you're bombarding us with hilarity.
Now, I do have a friend.
He didn't learn the rule of comedy. You got to give laugh breaks.
Yes.
He just hits us. He's like almost like we do. We're just bombarding you with jokes.
Yeah.
That when people bring shit up, and I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Right.
And they're like, "Damn, you just recorded this 3 days ago." I'm like, I don't know. I'm into like we go into this fugue state where we're just like spitting out shit, and then we come out of it.
Steven Seagal is like punk rock meets progressive. So they're 45-minute long songs, just constant fucking riffs though the whole time. There's no fucking easy zone.
Well, I'm going to give you this joke. Lay it on us.
Oh, I get to tell this joke.
Yeah.
We hear a knock at the door. Hello. Wait. What rank was he?
Lieutenant.
Detective. Let's just say detective. Good. Detective Oh my god! I fucked it up. I'm delivering worse than Seagal somehow. Detective Chicken Noodle Campbell.
Get it? Because Campbell soup. I didn't get that. I didn't pick up. That's how subtle some of these jokes are. That I'm like, oh, we had Campbell soup. I get it now.
Yeah. Oh, he was walking to the office and somebody said that to him.
Yeah, it's cops just razzing each other like they do. They'll snap at each other with a rat tail towel and shit.
Yeah. They were doing the Stavros thing too. They were doing the Telly Stavros thing where somebody was knocking a styrofoam clip. Pick it up. It was good. It was good banter. And then Jim Campbell, that's Chicken Noodle,
played by Keenan Ivan Wayans.
Yes, makes it to his office and. There's a man with love beads in there.
There's a man griffin through his belongings.
Griffin, I think is what you meant.
And he's like, excuse me. He did a Steve Martin joke.
Yeah.
And we see that it's the Sensei, Jack Cole. Not Jack Hole. That's the guy on No Holds Barred, Hulk Hogan movie. Jack Cole. We'll call him Cole.
And he's standing up, and this is the first time he actually shows respect to another human being in this movie.
Yeah.
Even his wife, he's kind of like shitty to. Barely acknowledged her existence. But yeah, he's like, hey, I'm here from New York to help you work this case. Oh, what did you say your name was? Jack Cole? Didn't you work the DeMarco case? Yeah, I did. It was a big thing. It was just no big deal. It was a real big deal.
Did he solve it? I don't even remember.
Yeah, he murdered the guy.
Okay.
And he pointed it out. He was like, didn't you shoot him on a rooftop? Yeah, I shot him on a rooftop.
And then he's like, but here's the thing. I don't care. All I'm here is to solve the case. I don't care about credit. The most non-Seagal thing in the world. I don't care about getting any credit for this. I just want to solve this case and put this family man away.
So let's get started right now. As you can see, I'm a spiritual man.
I have love beads.
I have love beads. You're saying that this is some kind of connection to Catholicism or something. What's the string? What's the red string holding all these cases together?
That's it. The family man kills Catholics. Makes sense. He crucifies people.
You think you're going to get a big explanation on this, but no. There's a fresh kill right now. We got to go to.
Yeah, we got to go. We got to keep this thing moving. 90 minutes. So they walk out, and they walk on the crime scene.
Yep.
Which is the scene we saw that we didn't know was pertinent to this movie.
Did not.
The woman got shot. And he does, it's the usual thing. But is it the usual thing? Because Sensei is sensing something off.
I like how you did that. We also need to point out that at the murder scenes, they always do some fucking 4-year-old hand doodle,
Finger paint.
Finger paintings, thank you.
Yeah. Shows how insane the guy is.
Houses and like a mommy and poppy stick figure and everything.
It's disturbing. It's sickening.
It's absolutely disturbing.
Yeah.
And a pineapple pizza being opened up.
Yeah, and it's just like turned upside down on the floor.
Interesting. What is he trying to tell us?
He doesn't like pineapple pizza. That's what probably drove him into a killing frenzy.
That might have done it.
He walked in and just saw these people eating. He's like, hey, is that our pineapple pizza out there? I'm the killer, and he just shoots him.
This is probably the greatest 80s movie that's never been made that we're just going over right now.
People start writing the Pineapple Killer movie. Pineapple Pizza Killer movie. I'm sorry. And then Sensei just says what we're all thinking. Ain't the same, Jack. Jim. He's talking. He's talking in the third person. And
of course.
So he knows something's off because he's an expert on everything.
Yeah.
As all Seagal characters are.
And you're thinking that we're going to go down the serious line, but no, this is an action comedy.
Right.
So the two just cut. Okay, there's probably 45 minutes of movie that's left on the floor.
Thank you.
Thank you, indeed.
This would be 10 pages of notes.
Yeah. So we just cut to them in the car.
By the way, this is much very much Seven reminiscent. Raining nonstop, only when they're in a car. Only when they're inside of a car, we see rain.
Or when a murder's happening.
This is L.A. It never fucking rains in L.A.
They actually explain that. They say
know.
this is the wettest October.
Zargfuzz are all crawling all over L.A. at this
God,
time.
they snuck their
Thank
way
God
out.
Mitch Buchanan is on the case.
Thank you. He worked with China to get the weather controlling system installed so there's no more rain.
So they're driving in a rainstorm.
And they immediately go from... No, there wasn't raining at this point.
When they're in the car, it was raining.
Oh, okay. And it goes from very serious tone to very silly because Seagal needs to know, hey, were you married?
This is his new partner. He needs to get to know him, feel him out.
And Jim is stuttery. He's like, I don't want to talk about that. It's not the time
Well,
to
no,
talk
because
about
he's just like... Because remember, Griff, you're always suspicious of a new person you meet. And especially when they're asking personal questions. They want to get to know you.
Okay.
You put up a wall, and
Put
you
up a
say, no.
No.
Boundaries.
Right.
So Jim is like, look, man, I just want to solve this case. I don't give a fuck about your life. And it's like, okay, well, I'll mind my own business. So you got a wife? See? He's ignoring his boundaries that he just set up.
And Jim forgets about it and starts in on it before the walkie-talkie breaks over. You know, the old police radio. And it's like, hey, we got a suicidal kid. And Sensei can see that Jim's ignoring it completely.
Well, Jim's like, that's not my detail. I'm homicide, not suicide.
Yeah.
He says that. Another great joke.
And he's like, no, this kid is live streaming a fucking school shooting on Twitch right now. We need to go there.
So,
Even
yeah,
Sensei
because
knows.
Sensei, even though this is you're not supposed to do this as a cop, you do stick to your fucking department. He's just like, I solve all crimes.
Yes.
So we're going to go check this out. So it's at a Catholic school. And we got the nuns. It's a very spiritual movie, man. And we cover them all. We got Buddhism. We got, I think they went to a synagogue at one time.
Yep.
And so he's like, get everyone out. I'm going to speak with this kid. This kid's crazy. He's got a whole fucking room hostage.
Here we go, Murray. I'll walk you in here. People are rushing out of the school. Police everywhere. SWAT team everywhere. It looks a lot like that awful footage from Uvalde. Very depressing situation we got here. But don't worry, because in the movies we have Jack Cole. And so he walks in, get me 2 cell phones. I'm going to need them. And then he walks over. He's hiding behind the door. We look inside of the room now.
I thought he was talking on the PA system.
He was,
Okay.
Murray. He was.
Yeah, all
See,
right.
another thing. One of us caught and one of us didn't catch. So,
Well, I caught it. What are you talking about?
what do you mean?
You said I didn't catch it. I said he was on the PA system. And
You
said,
were right,
yeah.
but he talked to it through his cell phone. It was
Why?
because he had to be at the door and in the principal's office at the same time.
So he's
for
doing some
reasons.
kind of ventriloquism.
He's right. So we go in the room. We see Johnny with the gun. It's always the kid named Johnny.
Yeah, they're troubled.
Yeah, there's the St. Vincent song in Twin Peaks, The Return, the kid's Johnny.
Johnny the kid from Mad Max, that crazy little fuck.
Exactly. Everybody. So, like you said, Sensei is on a cell phone, but he's right outside of the classroom, and he's saying, hey, kid. And the kid, everybody knows what it sounds like when a voice comes through over the PA system. But Johnny is apparently high as shit or something.
You know, he's just in a panic because he knows some shit. He's even saying, like, what did he say? I can't go back or something like that.
He kept saying he couldn't go back.
His girlfriends, because they're like, he probably got dumped by his girlfriend, and he's flipping out like every incel nerd would. And his girlfriend's in the room. He's like, Johnny, please calm down. And we realize it's not about her.
You ready for this great Sensei joke that got plugged in here?
Lay it on me.
Jim saying, why do you think all the fucking SWAT are here? Because they look good in black.
All right, we gave you a laugh break, people.
Yeah, that was
Let's
a
get
laugh
back
break.
to this.
That wasn't an us break. Who's this?
So
That was a you
yeah,
break.
because we know how to tell comedy, unlike Sensei.
So he calls up the PA. He has Jim over at the PA system,
In the principal's office.
and he's using his cell phone to relay the signal. In this movie, recording off a phone, very easy. No static, no nothing. It sounds like they're talking directly in your brain. So Sensei is talking over the PA system. Johnny hears it, is like, what is this fucking magic? Who is talking to me right now? Go over to the window, look down at the alley. Yeah, that's not a Zargfa. That's me. And I have no gun. So he starts walking over there. Sensei kicks open the fucking door, holding a gun on Johnny, and Johnny turns his holding out a gun. What is this?
Yeah, this is great hostage negotiations here. But then he says, look, I'll put my gun down. Don't worry. And he does put his gun down. And then he just fucking football tackles Johnny out a window. They go through
They go over the fucking alley.
Yes, they go into there's like a wing
Yeah.
of the school.
The building, yeah.
And there's like a little I don't know what you call that. Like not an atrium. There's like a space between the buildings.
I mean, it was an alley. It was just
no,
like
it was bigger than an alley.
You think it was bigger?
Yeah.
Because it was still like 8 feet wide.
It was way more than 8 feet. It was
think-
probably
okay.
20 feet wide. But he still somehow tackles him out the window, through the window of the building that's 20 feet on the other side.
And for some reason, I think his cell phone was still on or something. Or Millie comes to the window and goes, Johnny, I love you. And Johnny is just like knocked out. And he goes, I love you. Yeah, kid, you don't love me. Something stupid like that.
So they're cleaning everything up. Everyone's got on the back of an ambulance with a blanket wrapped around them. And then this guy, this snooty-looking business fuck rolls in.
Oh, I got to bring up something because it comes up. It actually plays heavy into the plot. When Seagal was getting a sense of the scene and everything, they say, yeah, this kid's been talking to a therapist. Must have been the wrong therapist.
Great joke. All right, I was giving people more of a laugh break. God, this episode's gonna be 5 hours because all the laugh breaks we're gonna have to put in it for Sensei.
Put 'em in there, though.
So so we meet Frank Devereaux, the father of Johnny Devereaux, and he's like, "Oh, officer, I just want to thank you for saving my son's life."
Yeah,
but the Sensei, he knows something's up with this guy, and so he's a little sassy to him. What's he say, Griff?
Well, of course, Frank Devereaux is just fucking thrilled that his son is still alive, so he's thanking him. He's just like, next time there's an issue, can you call me directly? And you see the fucking, at this point, Steven Seagal's face is like 45 pounds, and so his eyes are just small slits in his face at this point. And you just see him, and you can tell that he's trying.
Do you see a glimmer in his eyes?
No, there's no glimmer.
By the way, the explanation for the Glimmer Man's the biggest letdown of this whole fucking movie.
Yeah.
It's the most throwaway, they named a movie because of that. Anyway, go back.
They tried. You think Steven Seagal came up with that one?
No, I don't know. It's an awful name for a movie to begin with.
It's a terrible name. But yeah, so Frank's just like, yeah, you just give me a call. And Sensei just kind of stares him and smugly looks at him, goes, yeah, you'll be the first number I dial.
Back at the HQ, Cole, they're doing their paperwork, and then a goon of Devereaux shows up, Donald. And he's like, look, can we cover this up? My boss is a very important man. We don't want them to know that his son is fucked up. We don't want him to go to jail, obviously.
Right.
Can we just say he's insane or something and get off? Yeah, I think I could do that. No, get your ugly white ass out of my sight. Ugly white ass. Because we know Sensei Seagal is half black. He's technically black because he grew up in Detroit on the blues, so he can say that.
Right. And, of course, he's half Asian because he went over to Japan for so many years.
Right.
But also, he's not willing to say that Johnny's insane.
Not at all. He tells the truth.
Yeah, he got into Johnny's heart, and he knows this kid is good.
He's troubled.
He just needs help. Not the kind of help a therapist can give. Sensei might have been into some Scientology here, because they also hate any kind of psychologist or therapist or anything.
Well, I don't know. That's for another day.
That is for another day.
So we're going to go down to the MEs examining the bodies from the Family Man killings we saw earlier. And Jim's asking, what's going on? Sensei, shh. I can tell by the hair color, the cheekbones, the bone structure, this woman's Russian. Probably from Georgia.
And just to give you the full picture of this, they're there with the doctor doing the autopsy and everything. Yeah. And he looks over at Jim, and Jim looks over at him, and they're both just like, oh, what? How does this man know all this stuff? So It is in the contract of Steven Seagal that everybody has to be amazed by every piece of information
There's never been maybe our last president, but there's never been anyone more insecure than Sensei Seagal.
It's very true.
And first of all, Georgians are different from Russians. They're not just because Georgia was part of the Soviet Union doesn't make that'd be like saying French people and Polish people are the fucking same.
I mean, isn't that excuse Putin's putting up for why he's gonna try to annex parts of Ukraine? Well, these people are more Russian than anything.
Well, there is a section of Ukraine that's Russian, but it's in the minority. But
he also does notice, Murray. I just want to point it out that not only is she an Aquarius.
Well, that's the joke that Jim says.
Oh,
Jim goes, "Oh, is she an Aquarius too?" Yes, she is.
And she's also a broken vessel.
And then, like we expect Sensei, what else does he notice? Tits.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Because this is where he gave Jim the slightest bit of respect when they first met. And now we say, hey, what else do you notice about this woman? After I noticed her cheekbones and identified her as Russian and all that, he's like, what else do you notice? Oh, she's got good tits.
They weren't good, by the way. They were pretty... It was a bad boob job.
But
then she was laying down, so, I'll cut her some slack.
Cut her some slack? Okay.
But he's like, yeah, they're too good. And then he's like, oh, by the way, she has breast cancer. I can tell by looking at those tits.
Everything about this scene is
They
so
did
amazing.
mention that she had cancer, too. She's riddled with cancer.
Yes, in her body.
And he could tell, of course, Sensei knows that because he can see the lump.
He reads chakras, Murray.
He reads breast lumps.
And
we know that Sensei Seagal is a master of breast exams in real life and in the movies.
We've heard this on multiple sets where he's constantly examining women's breasts without their consent, and it's only to make sure they don't have cancer.
So he's like, hand me that scalpel. And then he just starts sawing into her breast, pulls out a perfectly, no blood or anything on a breast implant.
Nothing.
And then he says, yeah, we got some numbers on here. Look into that. We never go back to this. I don't know why. Besides the fact that he wanted to fondle a breast, there's no reason for this scene because we never go back to those serial numbers or anything.
So we're cutting over, and we got the guy who was trying to get Johnny, trying to convince Sensei that Johnny was just insane.
Yeah.
His name's Don Cunningham.
Donald
Cunningham.
Yeah,
I call him Don.
Well, he's not your friend.
Yeah, he's my friend now. And he, of course, has to go to his boss, Frank Devereaux, of course. And they're talking menacingly. The light is menacing. Everything about this is like, these are two fucking creeps.
And Frank is pissed off because he got sassed. But he's not used to getting sassed by anyone, let alone the Sensei. So he's like, sick the Russians on him.
Yeah, of course. When you got a problem, sick the Russians on them. Not the Russian trolls
So
on
we
Twitter.
need some more levity, okay? Because this is a buddy cop movie, comedy. So we got to go to the old China. The first thing Jack Cole does when he hits a new town, where is the nearest Chinese grocer?
This is fascinating, by the way. You think of this movie, they were like, oh my God, we're at 2 hours. We need to cut some scenes.
This is way too funny.
Scene stuck around. I wish we did a full reenactment for this.
Don't take a drink anytime someone says deer penis. That's all I'm telling you. 'Cause you're going to die of alcohol poisoning.
So, as far as we know, Cole has never been to L.A.
But he is a citizen of the world. He blends right into any Chinatown he's in.
Right.
He even says Sifu.
Yes,
which means master.
The patron or the operator immediately sees them walking in, is greeting his new guest. Sensei takes his prayer beads, does a little bow. Sifu, how you?
No, he speaks perfect Chinese.
Well,
even though
of
we
course.
know Sensei only speaks Japanese, but
Yeah.
I guess he speaks Chinese. I guess they're all the same. All Asian
him,
languages are
yeah.
the same. And the guy's like delighted. Oh my God, this guy knows my language.
We got Jim just looking fascinated. He's walking through the
No,
store.
he's got to be the obnoxious American.
Oh yeah, no,
character,
but he's looking over his shoulders like this guy fucking talks Chinese too. He notices Russian people, speaks Chinese.
You can tell. You can tell your nationality by your bone structure.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and so
And your breast structure.
He's going through the store. He's picking up a jar that's full of cockroaches. Oh, if we were at my house, I could sell it for a fortune.
Yeah.
House has
And
cockroaches.
then the owner's wife, she assumes because Sensei can speak Chinese, he can. And then we get to the old joke. I'm black? Because, of course, black people can't speak Chinese. It's ridiculous.
Right. And so the woman apologizes. Oh, so sorry. Have some tea. And Sensei maybe sensed it in the air or something, but he just looks across the room and goes, "Oh, that's deer antler tea. You're gonna want to drink that."
Yeah, and I think he cracks some joke about how gross it is or something like that.
Yeah. Well, he says it's good for your manhood, and then he sticks his fist up in the air, and they cut back to him still holding his fist up.
It's good for his manhood. And they just happen to have a TV playing some Turner Classic movies, and we learned that Jim's a film buff.
Yeah.
Especially classic Hollywood.
Classic.
And he's like, "Oh, I love this movie. It makes me cry." I mean, I hear it makes people cry. I don't cry. I'm a man.
And then suddenly in this shot, Seagal just kind of slowly pops up
Just
over his
looms
shoulder
over.
like a parrot. And he's like, "It's okay to cry. It's just a spiritual release of your body.
Cleanses the spirit.
It cleanses it."
And then I think Sifu's been in, not Sifu, Sensei has been in so long, a smell starts arising. So the woman has to burn some incense to get this
Yeah.
smell out. And that, wouldn't you know it, Jim's got an incense allergy. It doesn't. I mean, a lot of people do. I know I got one.
Yeah.
Whenever I remember there was some incense at like a fucking party store, some like rundown party store. The scent was pussy. It said pussy right on it. And so I have an allergy. Well, I have an allergy to pussy incense. So
The
I
Gwyneth
know.
Paltrow collection.
So he starts sneezing, and then Cole's like, "Oh, I got the perfect thing for that." And he gives it. He's like, "Hey, my sinuses are already clearing up. What is this?"
Put it under your tongue and just hold it there.
And he's like, "What is this?" "It's deer penis." Tee. Yeah, we're going to hear deer penis throughout. That's the running joke of this movie.
Ours is pineapple pizza killer. Theirs is deer penis.
At least our killer's a lot of fun. I mean, Family Guy's killer sucks.
Yeah, I think so.
There's all those cutaways. And this reminds me of so-and-so doing something. So
They get a call in when they're back in the car. He's like, why did you make me put that penis in my mouth? It looks like you liked it because you have a whole box in the back. But they get a call in about,
they got some info. Somebody's got some info on the Family Man killer, and they got to meet at the docks. This sounds like a setup to me.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, but if you have ever watched Steven Seagal's Lawman, I know you watched one episode. With
Yeah,
me.
we have an unreleased episode of that.
Yeah.
And it'll never be released. It was awful.
Maybe Matt Soshi's going to ask for that, too.
He can have it. Just bury it when you're done.
I'm not going to edit it either. You're going to get a lot of, wow, this really sucks. Should we do this? But yeah, so we're getting the car ride over to the docks. We do have to get into this because it's more character building. You said they don't have any time to get
They have no
along.
chemistry at all. I don't know what that guy you quoted at the beginning of the episode. They have no chemistry.
They have no chemistry. But, of course, Jim has noticed that Sensei is always wearing the beads. This is what I use to cleanse my body, my soul. This is what I use to keep my mind straight. Oh, yeah? I use Jack Daniels.
Didn't he earlier say he uses a bran muffin?
That was when they said this will help clear your body, cleanse your body.
yeah.
He said, I use a bran muffin for that.
So he uses the bran muffin to cleanse his body. To cleanse his spirit, he uses Jack Daniels. Yeah.
And so Sensei's like, well, we each have our own. He doesn't even shame him for drinking.
No, because he's a spiritual man.
But then Jim tried to stab back at him. I don't wear my bottle around my neck, though. And he says, you would if you want to get fired for it. So
Is that a joke?
I don't know, but they're bonding. That's what matters.
So as they reach the docks, they notice somebody. We learned earlier from the suicide scene that when there's a crime going on, a lawman's got to stop it. So they see somebody trying to steal a car.
I like that you use lawman because that was the point I was getting to. In that show, he would just be driving by at 80 miles an hour, goes, there's a crime. Let's pull over. And that's what happens here.
Right. And it is a crime because they are trying to steal a car.
Why is this car here, though? That's the real crime.
Yeah, well,
It's illegally parked.
Well, because it's a setup, Griff. So we get some nice young Asian boys, and they turn around and they go, "Fuck you!"
Was it all Asian boys?
It was half. It was a white guy, and there's a couple Asian
Yeah, okay.
guys. And they're like, fuck you, cop. We don't give a shit. And he's playing cool. Sensei's playing it cool.
Right, because he's saying, like, I don't get it. You guys got a screwdriver. You brought a screwdriver to a gunfight. We got guns. We got badges. We got justice. What do you got?
We got that. And then they turn around. There's like an office building underneath a bridge in the docks.
I don't get L.A., man.
Russian mobsters come out. And they go, hey, motherfucker.
They immediately knock Jim out. And Jim is just down for the count.
Because he can't fight.
Right. Yeah, that's right. That was after Cole had told him. Because Jim is confiding in Cole, like, hey, man, we're going to have to fight these guys. Oh, no, I don't fight.
Yeah. That was what Sensei put in the script. His character, which we learned from the opening, was not going to kill anybody, not going to fight. That's against Buddhism.
As we know, we have not heard or seen him fight in this movie.
No, this was going to be him using his mind solving crimes.
Right.
So Jim is like scared because he can't fight.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Because Jim gets knocked out because he sasses them.
Yeah, because the one goon says, "I'm just going to have you suck my dick." Now, without a date first. Then they knock him out. I would knock him out for that.
Yeah.
And then Cole, he wants to just he's like, what was this fucking line? They go up to Cole, and he goes, I don't know what even the Russian says to him. He's like, what's that guy's deal or something like that?
Because he asks. Yeah, no, it was right. You're right. It was like, what was your friend's deal here?
Well, my friend is a little country, and I'm a little rock and roll.
What does that mean?
He's quoting Donnie and Marie, for fuck's sake.
It's good. Sensei knew it was good, so he worked with that.
And then Cole, he wants to defuse the situation. Look. Whatever they're paying you, I'll pay you double. I have it in my pocket.
He learns that the Russians want to kill him.
Yeah.
And so he's like, whatever they paid you, I'll pay you double.
And then he goes, look, I'm putting my hand in my pocket. I'm pulling this out. I'm pulling my wallet out. And he pulls out the fucking American Express card.
Well, yeah, he's like,
I think it was a Discover card.
Yeah, it was a Discover
Nobody
card.
takes Discover.
Come on. It's not American Express. It's Discover.
Nobody takes Discover, though.
Because think about it. He's not truly an American. He's a man of the world. Right. A globalist, if you will. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry. Will you guys go ahead and accept plastic? Zoom in on the credit card. And a blade.
Hidden razor blade.
Pops out.
He's fucking Abdullah the Butcher, dude. He knows how to hide his blades.
And he cuts 3 throats with 2 swipes across. And they just go to Jim suddenly pops back up. Total AEW booking here.
And it's a Seagal movie, so a slap fight ensues.
Oh my god! And when he pops up, they couldn't have a shot of him saying, "I'm a little bit rock and roll." So they had to like ADR it in there as the action was happening. So you just get a random line read of Steven Seagal going, "And I'm a little rock and roll."
So he slaps the shit out of people. We've seen it a million times. That's his thing, Aikido. And then he throws a guy on a wheat thresher that happens to be there. What was that about?
There was a wheat thresher?
I don't know what it was. It was some kind of big industrial machine. And he throws a guy on, and he's impaled on a bunch of shit.
God damn. I know they get another perp because, of course, whenever you beat up a bunch of goons, you got to get, evidence. You got to get some kind of confession out of them or something. It's too early in the movie for a real confession.
Well, we do get some evidence because the guy on the wheat thresher, his sleeve rolls up a little, and we see every Russian we know has a crucifix tattooed on their wrist. That's a Russian mafia thing.
Can I go ahead and stop this, really abruptly stop the podcast for another great joke?
Okay, lay it on me.
Steven Seagal cannot get any information out of the guy. He's got him pinned to the back of his car. And so Jim says, let me go ahead and get some information out of him. Oh, do you speak Russian? A little bit. He bashes his head in the car a few times and then turns to Cole and says, yeah, I got nothing out of him. He doesn't speak Black Russian.
See, because there's a double meaning, because there's a drink called a Black Russian, and also he's black and he doesn't speak Russian. Layers. Back to HQ. Jim is...
It's just Jim and his boss.
Yeah, just as
Is
the
this
captain.
Harris?
I know it's the captain.
Oh, it's okay.
Shockingly, a white guy. He's captain. He's always black. And he's just like, this guy is fucking weird. And he's amazing.
What are you trying to say? He's like some kind of Bruce Lee?
He's better than... This is the line. He is better than Bruce Lee. You know Sensei put that in.
Great. What the fuck do you want me to do? You want me to actually research the people we bring into the precinct or something? What do you want?
Maybe he does. I don't know. That night, the rain is a-pouring, so we know someone's going to get killed.
I mean, we could have had a cool... Maybe this movie, what we're missing, is cool cuts of Zargathas. Maybe the family man is actually a Zargatha.
There were no bite marks on any of the bodies.
Right.
We know that's the MO.
Zargathas aren't Catholic as far as we know either.
No.
They don't believe in the J-Man.
Yes. So the family, we assume this is a family man killer, walks into a house with his laser scope and just shoots a man and a woman in a bed.
That's right.
So now we got the scene where Cole and Jim are going over the evidence of the family man. They're discussing it. Cole is laying out all the shit he knows, even though he knows nothing about this case. He knows everything about this case.
It's somehow, the serial killer has been out there for weeks now. They've got barely any evidence, but they do have the room with just the evidence pinned all over.
Right.
And right now, what they're reviewing is a projector. You can see that dangling.
Well, it's
earring.
it's like a
good shot.
A slideshow, and they're getting into the mind of this killer. They're like, he believes. I don't know how Jim knows this, but he's like, he believes that he is doing good. He's purifying these people's soul and sending them onto heaven.
Which is really funny when you think about it, because we just listened to that guy's interview, and the audience listened to the guy's interview at the top half when he was saying that they had to convince Steven Seagal to kill the character to cleanse his soul so he could go to a better place.
Yeah. They covered all the bases. So as they're just about to solve the case, hey, we got another Vic. It's out in this area.
Can you help us out with that? What was that, Vic?
Yeah, that's short for victim. We don't have time to say victim.
Oh, my God.
I can speak cop.
You do speak cop. You're from Pontiac.
I've been arrested many times.
Yeah, harassed all the time.
So they go to this home, and Cole is very disturbed. Why?
Yeah, he immediately gets out of the car and rushes into the house. And you know Sensei in this movie, he's cool, calm, and collect. He's always just kind of going with the flow. Water flow. And he's rushing in there now against the stream like a salmon.
I like how you said rushing in there.
We're the best.
So and he's just grimacing, and he's just moting the facials on Sensei were amazing. And then
he has two looks in this movie: smirking at a joke he made, and peering into the soul of another person.
And then this is where I think Harris comes in. He was the other black guy, right?
Harris is the white guy, actually.
Then who is the black guy?
I forget his name.
Okay, other black guy is his name. And he's just like, hey, there's a print on one of the Vicks. And on the female body. It's Cole's. I don't know how they just got his... first of all, we know Cole is a mystery to everybody. No one knows anything about him. They have his fingerprints on and then they got someone to check him with a fucking magnifying glass and look in the... Can you leave fingerprints on a woman's body?
What do you mean?
I don't think you can do that.
I'm confused by what you're trying to say here. You can't leave fingerprints on anybody?
I don't think you can.
I didn't know.
I think you can leave them on surfaces, but I think because of the oils and shit in your skin, you couldn't
and the
leave.
Blood. The blood that was gushing down her face.
I don't know, but they're like, oh my God, it's Cole. And we're thinking as the audience, what? Is he the killer?
So we go back over to the headquarters because, Cole has just kind of rushed his way out of the situation.
Right.
He's pissed about something. And we have some research on him because Jim's been asking about it. Every single record that his buddy...
Well, no, at this point, he asks other black guy,
other
look
black
into
guy.
this guy. I need to know everything about him, but make it off the record.
Right. And now we go in to see what Jack Cole is up to.
We get that scene where we get all the cops in a room, and then Cole is like leading.
And this is where Steven Seagal looks at his most natural, because everybody is standing and he is sitting in the middle of a room with a bunch of people around him just like fawning over him.
Right. And he's putting out hypotheses. He's just like, this is probably the work of some kind of mental patient. Can we look into that? Any mental patients have been released lately?
We know these recent victims were psychiatrists. Could it be the patient of the psychiatrist?
Yeah. And then we get that classic scene where we get a time release scene where we see him like pouring over evidence, and there's a bunch of cops, and then we see a couple disappear, but he's still working hard, and then everybody leaves, and he still was like got the one little desk light on, everything's closed.
The coffee burners, you see him fill and deplete and fill and deplete and fill and deplete. Yeah, it's good.
He's just burning the midnight oil looking for this killer. And we're like, why? Why is he so obsessed with this one case here? Well, we're going to learn.
So now we just follow Cole back home.
To this woman we allege is his wife. We don't know.
We didn't know he lived in L.A. We didn't know he had not one, but 2 families in L.A.
Yeah, he has a home. He's only been here for a week.
As far as we know, he's been living on the East Coast. Suddenly, it's like, oh, yeah, he's got a hot wife in L.A. And, yeah, he had another wife in L.A., too. And he has kids.
Yes, he has 2 kids. And, of course, since he's such the perfect father, he has custody of the kids as well.
Yeah.
So he reveals this is where it blows our mind. He reveals to his wife.
I just want to point out the fact that he just arrived in L.A. 2 days ago. Yeah. His wife doesn't seem to give a shit about that.
Well, we barely ever see her in this movie.
Right, and she's just like, hey, what's up? Like, what is this relationship?
I don't know. But he's just like, oh, yeah, the kid's mother's been killed. And we're like, what? Like, so why he was so disturbed, that was his wife. And that explains why there was prints, because you always fondle up your fucking ex-wife, so you leave prints on her.
Right.
Prints last for months.
Like, think about it. When Jim confronts Cole about this later, he's going to say, like, why were your prints? That's my ex-wife. She has a B&E fetish, let's say.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Well, I told you women do have that fetish.
And so her husband is
real
a cock,
fantasy, yeah.
and so I break in.
Well, he watches, yeah.
And I give her good sex, and her husband watches.
Does he wear a baklava mask?
He does wear a baklava mask.
It can't be. Hey, look. Hey, I'm not going to judge people. It could be hot. I don't know. So, with this scene where we have these adorable little children outside, and he just walks out. We don't need to hear the gruesome, because he tells the kid all the gruesome shit. Like, your mother was crucified. I think she might have been raped. But we don't want to hear a 5-year-old hearing that.
Something definitely happened in Sensei's career where they said you have to stop having scenes with children. Because we see this scene in the kitchen through a window, and they may not have been kids.
And so I guess we see, like, she's just like, this is why I love that man, because he can tell his kids that their mom's been murdered in the most gruesome detail.
Right.
And they're fine with it.
Yeah. She immediately went to just happiness when she saw him with the kids. So that's got to be a man you keep in your life, because it's like, that's like crack level of, like, addiction. Just sees the man, instant happiness.
So that night, Cole's in his office, picks up the phone, makes a very mysterious, cryptic call.
Yeah. Mr. Smith needs to talk. Mr. Jones needs to talk to Mr. Smith. Mr. Jones! Sorry. Is that one of your favorites?
Oh, yeah, Counting Crows. I love those.
That was Counting Crows.
Yeah, that dorky fucker, like, fucked a ton of hot chicks in the 90s. That dorky white guy with the dreadlocks.
Was he white?
Yes, he was white.
Wow. Counting Crows.
Yeah, it's awful.
Is it grunge?
I don't know what that shit was. That's boring white people music. Yeah. So now we're at an office. Oh, my God, we're at the CIA. Spooks. And the
Bureau.
Not the Bureau. The Bureau's FBI. We learned that last week. The agency. And we see Mr. Smith, played by Brian Cox. I feel Brian Cox, he's a great actor. Why is he in this schlock?
Yeah.
He's the original Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, and Manhunter.
And Manhunter's very good. You told me. I didn't realize that movie existed. You told me about it. It's good.
It's one thing I like about British actors, especially this generation, like Brian Cox is from. It's like acting is just a job to them, so they'll do anything, because they're like, I'm an actor. That's what I do. It's not like a spiritual calling, like people think acting is now.
It gets annoying.
Yeah, it's just like I learned how to act. It's a technique.
Right.
I do it. It's my job.
Yeah,
and I'll just you got a job for me. I'll take it, even if it's a shitty Steven Seagal movie.
I think some of the greatest material we have reviewed and everything has been people who clearly don't give a shit about the movie,
right,
but they care about like bringing something to it.
Well, they care about their job,
right? And so it's like Wings and all of his movies that we just adore. It's like Wings always brings something extra, and it makes the character that much bigger in the environment. And Brian Cox doesn't really add a whole lot, but the villains don't really work that well in this movie.
They're no good villains.
Devereaux's barely in it. Mr. Smith here, Brian Cox, barely in it either. Everybody in a Seagal movie works as exposition to say how cool Steven Seagal is.
Right.
Not since Under Siege 1 with
Tommy Lee Jones.
Did we get like
Gary Busey?
Gary Busey, that's right. Did we get like villains who were actually good villains?
Yeah. So Mr. Smith goes ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm loving it. What you do, because he does the McDonald's commercials now.
He did it in a southern drawl, so just go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Fucking Mr. Jones, which is, I guess, the alias, because he has many names. Because he even says Jack Cole. Is that the name you're using now? Yes, that's what I'm. So he's just like a ghost, and he just walks right into the office.
Here is our black detective's name, Roden.
Okay, but before that, Smith, Brian Cox says, or he calls up and he says, I don't want to talk to him. Fuck.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. His secretary brings him the voicemail, and is like, "Yeah, we have a whisper in an envelope for you." He unveils it a little bit. And he's like, "Oh no! Pinch that shut. I don't want to hear that man's voice again." Oh, that is like a glimmer in my past.
Oh my God! Did he say that? A glimmer in my past? That's good writing, man.
Good writing.
All right, Roden, who's the other black guy. He will now be called Roden. He returns. He's got all the info, but there's not that much info because we learned every single Seagal character has no past beyond 5 years.
That's right.
They're all mysteries.
Every single one of their past is unknown, and if you ask them, they're like, "I don't remember. I went on a mission and I came back and my brain was."
You don't.
This is.
I'd have to kill you if I told you.
This is like video game / anime writing right here. Like the poorest of poor. Yeah, we don't really actually want to put work into this. Just believe it.
Well, no, it's the whole Seagalism. He's such an insecure man. It's like he's got to be the best at everything. First of all, we list off some credentials.
Yeah,
he's amazing. But there's something you're not privy to. He's a ghost. You don't know him. You'll never get to know him.
I want to go to a place like this because we see it in all these like 70s and 80s movies. I can think of numerous movies we've covered where they have like these little hamburger hot dog huts. And the people just go up and sit on stools and get, a quick little burger fresh off the grill. And they're there. Roden orders a couple coffees. Jim's like, "Oh, I don't want a coffee." They're for me. This information I'm about to give you is going to make me shit myself.
So we learned, I think we already explained the DeMarco killings, which was the first serial killer things in New York that he was involved with, and how he killed DeMarco.
Right.
And he's just like, look, it's like this guy came out of nowhere. I think every Seagal movie, someone has this line.
Everybody at least, okay, again, if we're talking Seagal laws, we did the bechamel test with the women, and the women have to talk.
You got totally fucked that up. By the way, I'm sure marked on that. So yeah.
Okay, but 2 women have to talk. They can't talk about a man or something.
2 men can't talk about serial killers.
Yeah, Steven Seagal law includes multiple characters, probably at least 3 characters talking about his past accolades.
Right.
Somebody has to say that he's a mystery. Somebody has to say that he's a spiritual fucking menace. Or menace? No, that's not the word I was going for.
Messiah? I don't know what you're saying for.
Maybe Messiah, yeah. Maybe Messiah is what I meant. But it's got to be just filleting that ego.
Right, because he's a very, very insecure man.
Maybe, work with me here. Arm break over the shoulder.
He did do an arm break at the carjacking scene.
I know we did one in this movie. I'm saying,
but they didn't. They didn't linger on it. He kind of just threw it. He's like, I have to do it, so they threw it in there. But
so we'll keep working on the Skull laws for y'all.
So and he's like, and get this, he used to be married to the Dunleavy woman, which was the couple the last couple that got killed. The
couple he like spaced out on,
right?
And that we all noticed and really were like, wait, what is the connection here?
So of course, since he's the Mrs. Dunleavy was the mother of his children, he's got to be at the funeral. Mm-hmm. And we get a nice funeral scene. He's awkwardly massaging his daughter's shoulders. I don't know what was going on.
I didn't even notice this scene. I was still trying to keep up with the last fucking scene, so I missed that. I just remember him going back to his car, and current wife is like wishing him bye or something, getting in the car, but touching his face a lot with two hands.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. See, this movie, it's so packed with shit.
So Jim, he has all this evidence now. He's there. He's watching. He's like, I don't know if I can trust this guy. So he goes up to him and he's like, hey, what's up with your mysterious past, Mr. Cole? If that is your real name, I wasn't always a cop. That's all I can tell you. Mystery. And he's like, look, man, the evidence, it points to you. Your fucking print was on her. Apparently you had some custody battles or something. The print was planted.
Yeah, no, he was in a custody battle with his ex-wife for the kid, which, okay, why bring this up now? Could have brought it up before.
But he's like, the print was planted, which makes sense. And
it makes sense that Jim's like,
plant a print on somebody.
Sure. Okay, so we see that Jim is worried. Keenan actually doing some good acting here. He actually does look concerned when he's not choking down some fucking Chinese deer penis.
So Cole, he got brushed off by Smith, and he doesn't take that from anybody. So he's going to have a little face-to-face. And he knows all the hot spots. Whenever Mr. Smith is in L.A., he goes this particular, not Vinny's. He would be allowed in Vinny's, by the way.
I will go ahead and point out, Murray, do you know how long it has been at this point since Seagal?
I thought you were going to say since we started this episode.
Yeah, since we started this episode. It's actually only been an hour and 18 minutes.
Well, we still got a lot to go.
We're on a good pace here. Good marathon pace. And so anyways, so it's been 5 years since Steven Seagal was featured on an SNL episode. And this was clearly a bit he worked out for SNL that they refused. They're like, yes, no, Jimmy Fallon does not know how to take a punch. No, you can't punch Will Ferrell in the face. You can't do that.
I think Dana Carvey was on when he was
it might have been.
Back it goes. Mike Myers.
So, okay, once Steven Seagal walks into a restaurant.
An Italian, you said Italian-Chinese fusion restaurant?
It was Italia Chinese.
Place says Marcos on the outside. The maitre d' at the front desk
said Chins.
Says Chins. I don't know. I guess it depends on what you want to eat, what it's called.
Right. I mean, think about that. Fried rice with marinara on it.
Ooh. I don't know. I guess you have to try it.
You got to try it, Murray. You got to try it.
How's their shrimp?
Oh, boy. You can get it two different ways. You can get the cocktail sauce, or you can get the peanut sauce.
Oh, okay.
So think about it. I mean, this could be good. We see that they have both cannolis and the fried, what's it called?
Egg rolls.
The egg roll cannoli.
Egg roll cannolis are good. I can vouch for that one.
I never thought I would like cabbage and carrots stuffed into cannoli filling, but
yeah, but it works. I don't know. The sweet and the savory just works.
You sprinkle the peanuts on there.
Well, anyway, he walks in. The guy, he's talking. This is a hot restaurant. Everyone wants to be at Marco/Chen's.
Get that out of my restaurant.
Well, he wasn't speaking with a French accent. It was an Italian restaurant. So it's more stereotypical. Like, somebody, you. What do you want to talk about? I'm talking to the people that are here.
You know, you really don't listen very well. Grabs the guy by his greasy hair. Fucking slams.
No, he does not.
Oh.
He just bitch slaps the guy and knocks him out. The guy just disappears from the movie.
I only remember the guy disappears.
Yeah, he slaps him across the face.
He glimmered.
And then he grabs the phone. Come on down. we've got a table. You could see he was telling them there were no tables.
Right. So, guys, come on. Greatest fucking joke right there.
And now he bumps into some goons. He's trying to go in the back private room, and some goons come up, and this goon, oh my God, he does what you should never do with the Sensei.
Yeah. Oh, God, what do you got here? Some kind of little slap chop Nang Chen? Where'd you see that? Would you see it on, like, MTV?
With your sissy beads. What are you going to do here? And then, a lot of slapping goes on, takes this guy out. Walks up. Most of the guys just part like the Red Sea. They're like, I don't want any of this shit.
Of course they do. Yeah, of course. Everybody in suits here, and Sensei just in his fucking ceremonial fucking
Blouse, yeah.
warrior gi.
It looked like a Garth Brooks shirt.
It did. You're right.
And he walks in the back room. We see Mr. Smith with a senator. Mr. Senator, can you please leave? I have to take this meeting.
So I do say this friend of
declare.
mine. He's a little bit of the honorary type.
I'll see.
So you might want to excuse yourself, and we'll have a word to ourselves.
So this is
So were you just doing fuck or like or so?
I say. He wants to know what he's like. What do you know about the family man? This is a pro. I know what a pro does. This is not a serial killer. This is too professional. What do you know? I say, I don't know anything. What you saying, boy? I don't know. And while it's going on, when he explains this great physical comedy that Sensei is doing.
Oh, me.
Yes,
I get to do this. Because there's just plates full of food. And come on, Murray, this is Italian Asian fusion. So, of course, you have fucking dumplings full of ricotta cheese.
The chicken chow piccata is fucking amazing.
Chicken chow piccata.
Chicken chow piccata.
Chicken chow piccata. The dumplings with the ricotta and the fucking sausage and the cabbage. Because Italians just didn't get cabbage, but the Asians got the cabbage so well. Right. And the dipping sauce that they're doing it in, again, tomato-based fish sauce is so fucking good. Everybody's praising this. Sensei's looking at the table, and he's, like, pulling out. And they have, like, this fried egg drop noodle things that are actually breadsticks. It was weird.
There's Chinese sticks everywhere.
Chinese sticks everywhere. But he sees the little bread basket. He pulls out the napkin on it, just bread going all over the place, and he just fluffs it out and all that.
He's like, we know Sensei's got a sweet tooth, so he goes right for the egg roll cannoli.
He's got a sweet and
savory too.
Savory, yeah, salty, savory.
And he just bites the end and slurps the innards out. He does not eat the covering. He just eats the innards and then throws it over his shoulder.
Too many carbs in the cover,
right.
And it's fried.
Right.
You know, he's got to watch his figure. His face getting too fat as it is. So he's like, I need to know everything about this recent killing because it wasn't the family man. I know it wasn't the family man.
Because it's personal.
It's getting personal.
So he goes to leave, and the guy he just beat the shit out of was talking about his Nanchang.
Oh, come on. Okay. This was done by a pro. There's no way this was done.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, you did?
2 minutes ago, yeah.
Murray.
You were riffing so hard on that menu that you forgot.
You fed me the menu, and I feasted.
Yes, you did. And now you're purging. So the goon that he beat up is like, you pull that fucking chicken chow mein mushu pork bullshit on me again, and I will fuck you up. Oh, really? Well, here, I got something in my pocket you might need. What's that? It's for that bruise on your forehead. What fucking bruise? Pa-pow! And he just karate chops his fucking head.
Now, Murray, you can't end a fight scene without a little more levity to it. You got to have a joke or two in there.
Right. So as he's walking out, first he has to validate parking. Good ad lib, I'm betting.
Right. You think you're just going to walk out on that joke. But no, he doesn't follow the George Costanza rule. You don't just drop one joke on him. You drop two jokes on him.
And it's a good one because the phone rings and he picks it up because that guy's still knocked out from that slappy guy. No, we'll be close to renovations. Looks around. He does nice pratfalls. I think maybe 2 months. Click and walks out.
So we're going back to the headquarters. Jim's getting a call in. Of course, Jim and Cole are kind of operating separately at times.
Right, because Jim doesn't know if he can trust Jack.
Yeah. Man, I just burped right into it. Yeah, because it's just like
all the evidence points to him being the family man killer.
right, and Occam's razor, of course.
Right. Yeah.
And
Occam's
that's actually,
razor.
Yeah, that was actually the name on the back of
the credit card.
the credit card was Occam's.
Oh. And so we mentioned that they were looking for anyone that had mental patients, like criminally insane mental patients, and they get a call from a prison art teacher, Melanie, and she's like, "I think I got a lead. These because they sent out like the pictures from the crime scene, like the drawings you were saying. These look familiar. Can you come see me?" So Jim goes to see her.
Looks familiar to anybody who's ever seen anybody 3 or under do a finger painting.
Yeah, well, that just shows how sick the guy is.
Oh, okay.
It's purposeful.
Guy living in his own house.
And you know these fucking hippie art teachers, they love to burn that incense.
Oh my god, and they have like the real thick incense too.
And yeah, this was penis. This wasn't pussy. This was penis smell. And Jim, he's allergic to penis. Unless it's deer penis, because he starts to sneeze. And this. I love that they just keep. It's much like a G&G episode. They got these jokes they go back to.
Yeah, right.
And he's just like
like how the pineapple pizza killer always has victims he goes back to.
I hope we never go back to that joke. So he's just like, "Don't worry, it's my allergy. All I need is sucking on some Chinese deer penis."
And the woman stares daggers into his face. Oh no, it's no big deal. It's just a couple Chinese deer penis.
So she's like, "Anyway, these paintings look very familiar. I think I know who did this." And then she's like, "Do you know about art history? Leonardo DiCaprio?" "You mean Da Vinci?" "No, Leonardo DiCaprio. He's a great finger painter."
Oh my god.
And he's just like, "Can you just tell me the name, ma'am?" Christopher Hiawatha Maynard.
Hetfield.
McCoy.
McCoy.
And then he's off to the races. He runs back to the precinct. Everyone's getting ready to fucking attack this house. They got the address. But then the sensei, he's like, "No, this is too easy."
He pops out of an office. "What's all the buzz? Oh my god, Jim's cracked the case. Oh my god. Go on into the
Christopher
tool
Robbins
guy's name.
Maynard.
James Mayfield Keenan? Is that the tool guy's name?
Tool guy. Maynard.
He's Maynard. That's right.
Jim, Chris, Maynard, Robbins, Maynard. We got him. We got the case itself. This is too easy. Hey, get me the list of any churches in the vicinity of this address.
Oh, yeah, no. He gets the address. He goes to the phones. He's looking over the finger paintings. He's licking them. He's fucking feeling every inch of the art. And he calls up, "Is there any churches near the address?" Because you can't just Google this shit back in 1996.
Right, there was no Ask Jeeves.
Yeah. Ask Jeeves definitely didn't exist yet. Google was barely on the foundational stage. So it's like you can't just go in there and do, 9 block radius of said address.
Right.
You had to do real work.
So, of course, he's right, because we go to the church service and we see the guy that we opened the show with. It's Christopher
Tobolowski.
Reeves
Maynard. Yeah.
And he looks like a serial killer. He's bald. Bald guys are
Cargo
crazy.
shorts, flip-flops with socks.
In church.
Flannel shirt opened up, nipple hanging out.
That's a weird thing. He had a flannel shirt open up and another one wrapped around his waist. He was like double flannel.
So, wow.
Yeah,
Did you ever
wow.
go to grunge shows where you saw that?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Pearl Jam.
Well, you know what? I have seen Pearl Jam at Lollapalooza. I would never pay to see Pearl Jam, but I did. Yeah, it was weird because I'll tell you a story because we need to make this episode longer.
Please.
I saw Soundgarden like right when they grunge hit, like in early '92.
And you were an early fan of Soundgarden.
Yeah, I like Soundgarden. So I kid you not. It was first of all, Soundgarden, worst live band I've ever seen. And I saw them twice and they were awful both times.
Because they are, is it known for just Chris's singing? Or?
No, it had nothing to do with that. It was because the whole rap about grunge was it was anti like Rockstar.
Okay.
Couldn't be further from the truth. They were the most Rockstar assholes on stage.
Oh.
They thought they were so fucking cool. And they were being smart asses to the crowd and all that shit.
Interesting.
So they would go on these boring like jams. They would just start playing like distortion and shit and stuff. And literally a flannel shirt. People were throwing them on the stage. Like he would literally grab them and just throw them in a pile, like on the side.
That is an image.
Yeah, and then they like the fucking bass player like hurled his bass because they had like a chain link fence for some reason, like in the background, and he hurled it and it got stuck in the fence and he just walked off. And then
that is very deep.
And then Kim Thale, I think is his name, the guitar player, the Indian guy.
Oh, I don't know.
He started lighting matches and trying to hand them to people in the audience.
Interesting.
It was my best friend fell asleep. We were in the balcony. He was at the State Theater or the Fillmore, I guess now.
The Detroit one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he fell asleep
because
it was so boring.
That's really boring.
And then a few months later, I saw that same Lollapalooza that Pearl Jam was on. They were on it, and this was the time when that song "Cop Killer" was a big controversy.
I don't remember that one.
It was the Ice-T song.
Oh yeah, okay.
So to show solidarity, they were like, "We're going to sing "Cop Killer," but of course, Chris Cornell had to be so like cool. Like, well, I don't know the fucking lyrics. He had like a sheet of paper, and he was acting like he was so cool. Like, I don't even care to remember. Yet I'm still gonna like do it. Don't do it if you don't give a fuck.
Yeah. That would be kind of cool if you did an artistic version of it.
You did a fucking one you cared about. No, they did a phoned in like I'm too cool to do this, but I'm doing it anyway.
That's really annoying.
90s was very irritating, Griff.
I believe it.
Yeah, it was just an awful time for music, as far as I'm concerned. Some people like a friend of ours who loves 90s alternative rock. I hated it because the punk rock I liked was dead and was never coming back.
Yeah.
And metal was awful in the 90s because everyone gave up on it. So like, fuck metal, we're into grunge now.
Right. I think I've got you to agree on two different metal bands that you suggested to me in the 90s. I think Bolt Thrower was still active in the 90s.
They came out in the 90s,
Death.
yeah. Well, that was the weird thing because death metal came out and everyone's like, why the fuck? I want to hear my Seagal thing.
Don't
Actually,
worry, I'm gonna bore 'em
it
more.
wasn't mainstream, but it was on major labels for a short period of time, almost as short as grunge. So it was weird because like Morbid Angel and like Carcass and all these bands were on major labels for one record, and then it bombed, and then no one gave a shit.
Okay.
But yeah, that was hot too at the time.
It's really annoying to see distortion and bullshit from bands you would not expect it from. And I miss like a fuzzed out, distorted sound, but I don't want to. I want some Jimi Hendrix shit where he's just in front of his amp and just making fucking feedback. I don't want to listen to that. Depending on what you're going to see, if I'm going to see a fucking shitty band, I don't want to see them distorting and shit. If I'm going to see like a really fucking musically strong band do shit, like I saw Lightning Bolt, not Bolt Thrower, Lightning Bolt, and they do distorted out fucking experimental drum and bass shit, and it's heavy and it's fucking nuts, and I love it. But years ago, the last time when I was already done with my high school emo phase. You know, I never had flippy dark hair, anything like that.
I wish you did.
I
That
look
would've
like
been great.
Griff today.
If you did, I'd like we got to post that.
But with a
Twitter.
babier face and weirder hair somehow because I had more of it. But I went to see the band I used to really love, Saves the Day.
Okay.
And I saw them, and they came out, and they were just distorting, fog everywhere, and I was like, this is not you at all. You guys aren't good guitarists. You're barely pop-punkists. Like, you're nothing. And they came out, and they thought they were these cool rock stars and shit. It was really fucking annoying. And I was like, I'm never listening to them again.
And it was funny because Pearl Jam were second on the bill, and 2 months later, they were the biggest fucking band in the fucking world. I never got Pearl Jam. Never liked them. All the other grunge bands I was fine with, Alice in Chains and Soundgarden and Nirvana, they were fine. I didn't have an issue with never get it. To me, I don't even know how Pearl Jam got, aside from the fact they were from Seattle, they got lumped in because they sound like fucking Eagles or some shit to me.
Yeah, no, it sounded like a weird rock band.
Some kind of like dad rock bands, I always thought Pearl Jam was.
All
But
right.
anyway.
Hold for the laugh track.
All right, church service with Christopher Robbins Maynard.
Yep, we see our killer walking in. We already built him up. He's fucking wearing flip-flops, sandals, socks, cargo shorts, opened up flannel shirt. That's how we got on that
Right,
subject.
flannel
that's
wrapped
right.
around his waist.
Yeah, flannel.
Wallet, chain wallet.
He had the perfect fucking like monk ball top, but flowing sides.
Right.
Oh my God!
And the church is letting out, and he walks out and he sees Cole out there, and he goes right back in because he knows Cole for some reason.
It's the Catholic guilt. As soon as you lock eyes with authority, with somebody who has a spirit higher, more ascended than yours, you're like, "Fuck, I need to run."
It's exactly what he was going for.
It was, yeah.
And he rushes in and takes the priest hostage.
Yeah.
And Cole walks in. I love this great like mind game he plays with him. He's like, because he's got a gun on the priest. Does he pull out his gun yet, Cole?
Cole does not pull it out immediately, and give the audience a little bit of evidence here of insight here. So if you've ever seen Dumb and Dumber, Jim Carrey shows up to the one scene for the date with the girl he thinks he's going to see at the bar, and he's wearing this ridiculous Western wear. That's kind of what Sensei Seagal is wearing here. What the fuck is this jacket shirt he's wearing?
It was from the Garth Brooks collection.
The Garth Brooks collection, okay.
And this is his like mind games, like, Father, leave. And then the guy just lets him leave.
Yeah, he's like, you don't want to do this, Father, walk. And the father just walks away. He grabs him, hugs him, and says, I'll take care of your sheep for you.
And then the guy, he's like fucking, Maynard's freaking out.
I knew I was going to die today. Not sure why.
You're going to have to kill me. I didn't. And then he's like, why did you kill that family? I didn't kill anybody. I don't know what's going on.
How did you find me? It's the closest church to your house. Do you know who killed my ex-wife?
I didn't do it. You're going to have to kill me. Kill me. And he points the gun. Suicide by cop. He had no choice. I'm standing my ground. Bam, 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 bam. Kills Maynard. And he kills him. I'm sorry. I know he opened. I know Sensei wanted him alive.
Yep.
He wanted to hear him say, you didn't kill me.
I don't remember if we played this, if it's in the second half of the audio or in the half where he played or anything, but the fact that the guy points out that throughout the movie, Seagal ad-libbed into his own lines, and he's so glad he didn't kill the guy. And they said he did it in like 9 different scenes, so they couldn't edit it out or whatever.
So now the cops have arrived. They're like, all right, that's it. Open and shut case. We got the family man killer. It was him all along.
It had to be him all
But
along.
Captain Harris doesn't think so. He's like, I still have my eye on you, Cole.
Right.
You're too mysterious.
And he's pissed because he's like, oh, wow, just like the DeMarco case. You show up, suddenly the guy pulls out his gun and starts shooting. Captain, in all due respect, I was standing my ground.
I don't care. We don't have fucking freelance cops in this town. You follow the chain of command. You don't go off and do your own thing, which we learned he does go off and do his own thing later on. And it's like, tomorrow, you're at scene internal affairs, mister.
So we go over.
Jim gets thrown in. Jim has nothing to do with this.
But he's just kind of his partner, so of course he gets thrown into it. Told him everything he knows. Every single. Deer penis length and all.
Ratted him out. Cole's fine with it.
Fucking antlered him out.
This is my favorite scene of the movie. This is Steven Seagal's in essence.
Right. Oh, my God.
They have to give him a lie detector test. So they hook him up. He's got his prayer beads. He's rubbing them as he's getting the...
He's actually wearing a suit for this, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep. We were talking about Schwarzenegger in a suit last week. Seagal's wearing a suit.
Yeah.
It hides everything. It works well for him.
It's like it's kind of a sloppy Donald Trump suit. Long ass tie hanging down his crotch.
Stand really strangely, too. Like, he had a hinge at the hip.
And, of course, you have to ask some questions that we ask the people asking the question know the answers for to get, like, so you...
Well, yeah, you need to get a base.
Right.
So you start asking a bunch of wild
like
questions.
You ask, like, is your name Jack Cole?
Right.
And then you say yes.
Of course. And then you ask an absurd question. You ask Tim Murray, are you the pineapple pizza killer?
No.
And you see, like, oh, yeah, of course he's not. Because this man hates pineapple. We offered him a pineapple, and he slapped it away. He said, I want a peach.
You see the scar I got?
Yeah.
I got it from eating pineapple.
I want peaches.
I love a nice juicy peach. So they ask the question, like you said, it would be outlandish. They know the answer would be no. It's like, have you ever climbed Mount Everest? Yes. And the woman's like, well, it checks out.
Yeah.
And then
the whole room turns their face to the polygraph machine because they hear it scritching, and they're like, what?
So
Everest?
so far he's acing the test. He's fucking flying colors passing this lie detector test until they ask him.
Harris, yeah, because the operator, the little Asian woman, of course, is just asking him simple questions. He's answering them all. Have you ever killed on duty? Unfortunately. Perfect. And then finally Harris gets annoyed because, of course, he wants to convict him. Fingerprints. Occam's razor.
Right. And he's like, well, because he's like, why don't you just answer the yes or no question? Because, you know, that's what a lie detector is, yes and no. You don't go into nuance.
Right.
And he's like, you know, sometimes I have to stand my ground. And then he just gets offended, throws his beads down, rips off the fucking lie detector, and walks.
So we get a moment here. We're not going to follow Sensei out. We're actually going to see how the room reads this situation.
Right. The woman who's giving the test, she's like, you're not going to believe. I've never seen anything like this. Nobody in the history of mankind has ever been more truthful on a lie detector test than Jack Cole. He had total control over his emotions.
And so Harris, he's just like, I cannot believe this. I am going to go talk to him in the men's room.
Right. And, well, hey, it works for Fonzie. So our sensei's washing his hands.
Well,
he's being symbolic. He's washing his hands of this whole scenario by washing his hands.
That's beautiful. Would you say that's a metaphor?
Yes, it's a Christian metaphor, too, so it fits in with a family man killer. So maybe he is the family man killer.
He might be the family man killer. When he did walk in, he did put his hands out like he was crucified.
And, you know, you're in a bathroom. Sometimes you just get that feeling. So Harris is a strain in the vein, you know. And he's like, look, mister, I don't like you. You don't like me. You're off the fuck. You're going to take a vacation. I want your gun and badge right now and your beads.
Suspended, 2 weeks, overtime pay. I want your gun. I want your... Oh, you have a badge? Which urinal did you piss in? And he fucking chucks it like Jordan. Kobe buckets.
Right. And then guy's like, God darn it. I don't want to put my hand in that urinal. Too bad. You don't cross the goal.
So, of course, Jim now has to check in with Harris, who just learned about, you know, we're getting info about Killer. We're getting info about...
We're covering our bases. Does it line up?
Oh, right. Yeah.
That Christopher Robbins, Maynard, James Keenan...
Right.
Was he around when the Dunleavy case, or I think it was like the first case, the Roslov case, which is the first killing.
Right, because the whole idea is that the last 2 killings were a little bit different.
Right, well, we learned that because Sensei said that. Ain't the same, Jim.
And so they are taking his word as gospel.
Well, Jim is. I don't know. Jim had the quickest face turn I've ever seen. He didn't trust him, and now he's ready to die for Cole. Maybe it's on the cutting room floor. I don't know. It didn't ring true to me at all that he's totally all in on Jack now. But they're like, look, Christopher Robbins was with a church group for 2 weeks. They saw him. He never went. He never left.
A lot of people there to, hold his alibi to truth.
But get this. Did you hear Cole had a really nasty custody battle with his ex, even though it looked like they loved each other and they were totally cool.
Think about it. The DeMarco timeline, he shows up in New York. Suddenly there's the DeMarco killer and a guy gets executed on a rooftop. Now he shows up here. He got suspended and then he's gone for so long. And a family man killer shows up here, and he appears here.
And then it stops when a suspect gets killed.
Yeah.
And then Jim, he's nibbling on a deer penis. He's like, something's off. I don't know. I believe in Cole. So Cole, he's got to find his own evidence. So he sneaks into the Roslov house, which is the first victim's house. And I know that because there was a fucking... They showed a close-up of mailbox that said Roslov, even though I don't think they ever mentioned that her name's Roslov.
Thank you. I was so confused by this scene. Okay.
Was John Woo out at this time? Because this house is full of doves.
So I was actually working on the notes as Kayla arrived and was tired and was trying to nap on my couch. And we walk into the scene that's super, super, super fucking quiet. And this is apparently a person that keeps track of pigeons in their house.
I thought they were doves.
Doves, yeah. Doves.
But it was like they had like 1,000. It was John Woo's house.
Yeah, it was.
Because it was like in the middle of their living room, they have dove pens everywhere. That would be disgusting.
Yeah. So
I can see why you thought the serial killer's house would be this, because I would believe a serial killer would live in this kind of house.
Right. You're supposed to think he's psychotic. He lives in a weird.
No, this is the woman who's a translator, as far as we know, and has great tits.
Great tits. Too good of tits, actually. I saw those tits and I was like, my erection right now is a little too good. These aren't real.
Yeah.
That's how it happens. It's like a radar.
I've seen better. But
so anyways, yeah. So we're going through this. He's looking through. He's rifling through his shit. He's fully griffing it. He's trying to find evidence. And that's when you know someone's creeping through the house.
Right. A masked man with a scythe.
It was a scythe?
It wasn't a giant like Grim Reaper scythe, but it was like it might have been one of those ninja weapons.
Hand sickle?
Well, no, because it had like a long pole, not a long pole. It's like 3-foot pole and a little.
Yeah,
it might have been one of those ninja weapons.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know what you're talking about. Haitas or something.
And he attacks him. We get some more slap fighting. And
this is where we get all the fucking doves going ape shit.
Right, it's a very John Woo scene.
It's so loud, and that woke Kayla up, and she's like, what are you watching right now?
Are you watching Face Off? No, we're not watching Face Off.
Are you watching Hard Target?
Are you watching Con Air?
No.
Was that a John Woo movie? I mean, it wasn't.
It wasn't, but there were doves in it.
Doves everywhere. 90s was a very dove.
You know who's my favorite? Aaron Rodgers showed up as Con Air.
So the guy, of course, Sensei beats the shit out of him. So the guy runs, but he just happens to drop some very important evidence. I don't know why he'd have this on his person, but we need it as the audience to put it together.
It's the most amazing thing. This guy came here on foot, and yet apparently he was on his way to the airport, so he had to bring all of his belongings and tickets and money.
This is before 9/11, so you didn't really have to. You could just show up at an airport and go, "Hey, I have a ticket," and they would let you on.
Yeah, you would flash your blue eyes at them. They say, "You're American. You can go on."
So yeah, there's a plane ticket to Russia, Russian mob. And his paycheck from Deverell Industries has happened to be in there. Deverell, where have I heard that name before?
Oh, my God. He doesn't even try to make these stories good.
So now we cut right back to Frank Deverell's house. We see the guy with the ski mask. He rips it off. It's Donald.
Of course it's Donald. Throws it on Frank's desk, Frank Deverell. And he's like, hey, what happened? He was there. What was he doing there? Well, you should have cleaned it up earlier.
What was I supposed to do? He's amazing. He knows 10 different martial arts. I know 3.
I thought I was going to roundhouse him. He condoed me. Condo house? No, that's not a good joke.
No. Fits with this movie, though.
Yeah, it does.
So, okay, Jim, he's a guy who's always glass half full. So he's got the suspension, too. And he's like, I'm going to go to a movie marathon. I'm going to go to the old Bijou, the old Redford Theater, see some classic movies. My favorite, Casablanca.
I like this. He's like, I got to support I'm a cop in the community. I support the community. I go to the fucking shows.
He's got a whole bag of deer penises he's eating, like popcorn.
Yeah, no, he sprinkled it over
Can you
his popcorn.
make popcorn penis?
Well, yeah, I guess he could.
Pop penis? I don't know.
Pop penis?
I don't know. All I know is his allergies are not bothering him at all. Let's put it that way.
He's breathing because you can see that in the theater they put in that theater smell incense going.
Why do they do that? That's probably why people go to movies anymore, because that fucking incense smell.
It's just too much.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless I'm going to a porno theater, I don't want pussy incense wafting under my nose.
Right. You know, it was really weird. We saw, what's it called? The Doctor Strange movie. That was the last movie we saw, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I was so confused why there was pussy fog going into my nose.
That's how they get you, man. Women are taking over. Watch out. So he's crying because this is a fucking tearjerker of a movie.
That's right. And
I love how Sensei gets the best of both worlds. He gets to mock a man for crying by also telling him it's okay to cry.
Right. Like, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, okay, of course it's okay to cry. But on the other hand, he's like, knows it bothers him, so he mocks him about it. And then after the guy is at his lowest, he's like, oh, don't worry, it's actually okay to do that. He is a fucking 6th grade bully.
Yeah, that's basically him in a nutshell. Him and Trump.
Him in a heart shell.
So they walk outside. They don't want to disturb the other patrons. That's very thoughtful of them. And they're going over the case, and he's just like, this was a professional job. There's no way a serial killer, there's no way Christopher Robin's Maynard James Keenan could have done this. But why are they making it look like me? Like I'm the family man.
Right. There's no way I could have done these things. I'm too much of a spiritual, beautiful human being, and I believe in karma. It's got to be a work of a pro. And I know pros. And this pro definitely had a connection to Deverell. And, Jim's...
See, paycheck. You see, would serial killer get an IRA or...
IRA? Yeah,
no. But it's a professional would.
I like this because Jim is just like, you know what? This makes a lot of sense to me. And then he starts trying to talk, because of course they got a bond. You said this. They don't bond at all in this movie. No, they're bonding right now, Murray, over Casablanca. Because he says, yeah, it's like in the movie. And then he says a line from the movie. And Seagal goes, oh, yeah, I know that line. He's like, no, you don't. You've never seen Of course I've seen Casablanca.
Well, yeah, but before that's the end of the scene.
Oh, there's more?
Yes, we still have a lot more.
Jesus Christ.
Because now we learn why the woman in the great tits, what's her connection? Because for all we know, she was just a Russian translator. And then how did she get involved with all this shit? Was she smuggling chemical weapons? They just pull chemical weapons out of their ass.
Yeah, that was interesting. Well, that would explain the cancer in her body.
Exactly. But what connects your wife? I don't know. And then Jim's like, look, I could lose. I have 2 weeks I can collect my pension. I could lose everything working with you. But something tells me my gut, I need to trust you. And it ain't the deer penises. And so that's when they go into the buddy bonding.
Yeah, they're bonding over Casablanca.
Yeah, he's like, you've never seen Casablanca. Well, how do you know? Wait, you think I'm tough? I couldn't see a movie like Casablanca. I haven't. Let's go watch it. And they go in and watch it.
Yeah, fun.
All right, so now, oh my God, we thought Mr. Smith was just like, he was just a fucking CIA guy. No, he's working with Deverell.
Of course he is. Deverell's got everybody high up in political and any stratosphere in his pocket.
And Deverell's like, what is with it with this Cole guy? We can't get him off our backs. Tell me about him. Tell me how amazing he is.
Well, I do say, my son, I found him in Lam. We didn't even recruit him for the American military. He was just there fighting for freedom.
Right.
And we started putting him on special jobs. And then we started putting him on super top secret jobs. The type of jobs that Donald Trump declassified with his brain from Mar-a-Lago.
He was known as the Glimmer Man.
Oh, don't ask me to explain what that means. But do let me explain what that means.
1 second you're in the jungle, nothing. Then a glimmer. Then you're dead. I say. And then he's like, but this is the thing. He went rogue on us. He started making his own missions. He thought he knew what was best. We know what's best for this country. He don't know what's best. But no one could track him. Then one day last I heard about him, he was supposedly saved by a holy man.
Right. So at this point, Smith, who's just sitting there smoking a fucking stogie with a very Schwarzenegger with a bathrobe on, takes it off.
Speedo.
Yep. He's just like, I'm going to take a dip in here. Now look here, my boy. We need to cut the connections to us. We need to sever ties because things are getting a little too hot. And this pool is supposed to be 62 degrees Fahrenheit.
So there are 3 people. Your stepson, remember Johnny was the stepson, by the way, was not his son.
I thought it was his son.
So he could be totally fine with having him killed. And we got those 2 cops, Cole and Chicken Noodle.
Chicken Noodle Jim.
Now, I can take care of you. He's like, what? I mean, the kid's annoying, but he's still my step kid. I don't. Well, you got two choices. I can take care of him. You can take care of the cops. Two of them three got to die.
Right. Smith is very, really insists on it. He's like, I'll take care of your stupid little stepson. You take care of the other two. And that's where we cut to Jim doing some actual detective work.
Right. He's got the phone records of who is...
it was ex-wife's house.
Yeah, the calls that were coming into Dunleavy's house.
Yes.
And as he's looking over that, we see a guy, a very familiar shadowy figure.
Right. We should point out that Jim was getting into his Bronson mechanic. He had a bunch of shit up on his wall. He had a pipe.
He had classical music playing.
Classical music, bottle of
squeezing
wine.
a ball of wax in his hand.
Yeah, he's letting the jelly flow through his fingers.
Yeah.
And
See, if you listen to Rod Deal, you'd get that joke.
I'm surprised you remember that.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he starts checking off phone numbers and everything. And it's like, oh my God, he's right there. He's got it.
And just as he's about to get it, Donald attacks in his ninja outfit. And he starts beating the fuck out of Jim.
Yup. They get thrown into the TV at one point. Tube TV.
Yeah, there are a lot of heads getting thrown into tube TVs in this movie.
Murray, tube TVs are intense.
You think you would, like, bust your fucking skull if you got thrown into a tube TV, though.
Considering how thick that glass was, you would.
And so, yeah, and then the pipe that he was smoking, because he's like Arthur Bishop, falls, sets fire to the...
Right.
He's got all this fucking classic old Hollywood memorabilia. He's got fucking Dorothy's ruby slippers. I don't know how a cop could afford that.
Right, and as we know, she used to dance in a raw deal type forest fire outside. Or I'm trying too hard here. I'm going to stop.
Okay. And he gets thrown down in the kitchen. Donald just rips the fucking stove off the wall, and it's a gas stove, so there's gas now. Yeah, I love this like dramatic gas explosion. It would immediately blow up.
Yeah,
but it's like taking its time.
I know how gas works, and this is not how.
Last time I heard, it's flammable.
Yeah, it's inflammable,
and it's not delayed flammable either.
Yeah, this was the good kind of gas, where it's delayed flammable.
Yeah, so it gives Jim a little bit of time because Donald just takes the fuck off.
Well, they continue fighting for another 5 minutes while the house is fully engulfed in flames. The fumes are just blasting everywhere.
Yeah, you're seeing them.
I'm seeing them, and then finally, Jim notices and he goes, "Oh shit, I need to run."
Right.
Doesn't I swan dive?
Well, he outruns the blast. He's literally outrunning the blast. Yeah. Leaps out his like third story window. Thankfully, there's a convertible with a rag top down there. The cushions his fall. You'd be so fucked up if you. But no, he survives. He gets a little like bump on his head or some shit.
It's good. I mean, he wakes up the next morning, that's for sure. I mean, rain starts pouring in and everything, so that's going to put the fire right out for him.
Cole is at home. He knows what's happening. They're coming for him. The internal affairs are coming for him. And like a good cop, he does not resist arrest.
Right.
He lets them put the I don't think... Did they put handcuffs on? I don't think they put handcuffs on.
No, they didn't even bother. They were just like, "Oh, are you going to come peacefully?"
Gee.
I'm a man of peace. Of course I'll come peacefully.
And so I think they did wrap his beads as a symbolic handcuff around his wrists.
They did. It was just, like you said, symbolic.
And as they're driving, pouring rain, the one of the driver, his shirt sleeve rides up.
He lifts to adjust the rearview mirror, yeah.
And he notices that the tattoo that only Russian mafia get, a crucifix, only Russian mafia people.
Giant crucifix on the wrist.
And he's just like, oh. And then he says, "Das Vidanya, motherfucker." And the guy's like, "Oh, you know Russian too?" And they start speaking. And they say, "Oh, shit, I'm supposed to be a cop." He's not a cop. These are Russian mobsters, buddy.
So now we're in the midst of a fight. That is happening. Seagal is murdering people.
I love that. He's pummeling the shit out of this guy with the butt of a gun, a handgun. He's just slapping repeatedly on this guy's head.
And also leaning
Just use a pizza cutter. You don't need to, if you want to get some juice.
Leaning forward because he's in a car and he could die in the car. So he's leaning forward and also kind of directing the car a little bit to get out of the way of, like, sure destruction.
They turn into an alley, I'm kid you not, full of light tubes.
Yes.
A fucking garbage wrestling match breaks out in this fucking movie. Light tubes are exploding. Of course, every alley's got a ramp. I don't know why, but they just put ramps in alleys. So they hit the ramp, fucking spin. They're on the top of first it would just be all crushed, but apparently this is the hardest of hard tops.
Hardest of hard tops.
So it's a sliding upside down. Cole kicks the back window out and just rolls out, stop, drops, and rolls out up to his feet.
If you were sad that you haven't seen Seagal run in like 9 years at this point,
yes.
don't worry.
Yes. First of all, the car hits a wall, explodes, bursts into flames.
Yes.
And then he does the Seagal floppy dance.
Oh my
floppy
God.
walk.
We get to see him.
Haven't seen that in a while.
Arms totally.
I thought Jim Henson Productions would be better than that. But no.
No, that is a Jim Henson production. It's that run style. All right, so we're going over to the next morning. Cole just happens to arrive at Jim's recently exploded place. You know what this looked like? The fucking scene on a Darkman.
Yeah, and I love how the fire just went out on its own.
Yep.
Like there's nothing structurally wrong with this third story.
It's raining constantly in L.A.
Okay, yeah, as we know.
And somehow put it out.
They don't have. I don't know why they keep talking about droughts. They have droughts in L.A. It's constantly raining. There's too much water.
Guys, if you've seen Glimmer, man, it's constantly raining over there.
And once again, they want to look like 7.
And of course, Murray, it's been 2 fucking series. We had back-to-back life or death fights.
Yeah, we need
so
levity.
It's got to be funny again.
We need levity.
Oh, is this a box full of deer penis over here?
And lo and behold, it is. He has a giant box full of deer. I'm around a lot of incense. What can I say? And then he's like, "Oh my God, is this the Chris Gaines CD? Can I have this?"
Yeah. He starts going through his CDs, and I'm surprised there wasn't like a full fucking page about this because he fully griffed it.
I didn't know you were down with the sickness. And he just grabs the fucking Disturbed CD, which hadn't even come out yet. It was like 3 years in the making.
That's right.
It was the demo.
All right.
And so, we get a little levity, and then they head over to the house that the calls were coming from. Those 6 calls. This house got 6 short calls.
Right, so there were 6 calls placed from this house to the Dunleavy house.
Yeah, it is annoying. There's a Dunleavy and a Devereux.
I hate it.
Too many DVs.
I hate it.
And they go, and it's just some guy. This guy always plays cops in fucking movies.
Right.
But he's like, "Hey, that's not me. This is my daughter must be calling these
That's
lines.
my daughter.
I tell you sure not supposed to call these 976 lines."
It's full on Columbo here. The little red light doesn't work anymore. That's not my line. That's my daughter's line.
And we recognize the daughter. It's Millie, little Johnny Devereaux's girlfriend from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's right.
This woman was married to Bobcat Goldthwait, if you can remember.
Wow, really?
When she was hot. She's not hot anymore, but when she was hot, she was married to that guy. Can you believe that? Interesting. And she's like, yeah, it was Johnny making the calls. He was calling his shrink.
Right.
I think his name was Dunleavy.
Right. She's trying to like be like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about." They have some shrink's phone number. How did you know it was a shrink's phone number? You got me. Let me tell you everything now.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes. So now we
know the connection with Cole's wife, because she was married to to Johnny's shrink. And where is Johnny? Well, he's been located to Our Lady of Angels, the Sane Asylum.
We head straight there. We're walking in with a gunman, and we've seen this scene before. We think that this gunman is aiming for Johnny.
Well, he is, but
he approaches we just very much like Soylent Green. We have a bed bunk situation, but they have like sheets at this point.
Yeah, little privacy curtains.
Yeah,
like in an old hospital.
Right. So he pulls the privacy curtain aside, thinking to find a teen boy waiting there, probably with an erect penis, because teen boys have erect penises.
This is where I'm told why dreams happen. But
surprise! It's not an erect penis; it's an erect bullet.
Yeah, he doesn't even say, like, "Police, stop." He just shoots the guy immediately. And they're cool with that. And, like, nothing. We're nobody cares. Nobody's like, what the fuck's going on?
The panic in this room. Everybody has heard a gunfire at this point in their life. It's alarming. Nobody in this school, church, gives a shit. They walk over calmly like, oh, did somebody drop their water bottle?
They've gone with God.
They've gone with God.
And so, and then Johnny reveals, like, that woman, that translator woman, she was killed because she was smuggling the chemical weapons. Apparently she was a mule / translator. And he's like, I tried to warn, because he told, because you can tell anything to your shrink. There's client,
HIPAA. You're thinking of client-patient
privileges.
Yeah, privileges.
So he's like, I told him everything. So I knew he was incriminated. So I was trying to warn him with those 6 calls.
Right.
He kept thinking I was pranking him. I don't know what was going on.
Right. And so this is where we start to realize, like, oh, shit, Smith is helping. Mr. Smith in the CIA.
This guy with his beautiful Southern accent. He was involved.
Right.
It's got to be Smith.
And, of course, Cole's like, I'm going to go find him about that.
So now we see Smith. He's getting ready to go back to Marco's for a nice buffet. And our boys grab him, and they take him under the bridge. And Griff will tell you what happens under a bridge.
Oh, well, if they're not warming up buttholes, they're writing fucking awful songs to sell to the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Or they're interrogating CIA men.
Yeah, that too.
What do you know? What's going on? And then he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I say, you give me the vapors. What's going on? How about I make you dance? Shoots fucking Smith in the foot.
Oh, I mean, he immediately hits him with the pleasantries. You got to point that out first, because Mr. Smith is in love with Steven Seagal,
who isn't?
Jack Cole, and he's telling him, oh, God, Jack, I miss you. No one goes the extra mile like you.
He's obviously a masochist. He's loving getting shot in the foot.
Right. You're like the double breading on my fried chicken that I love so much.
But he's still not talking. So then he shoots him in the fucking palm, which made me think, Family Man killer much?
That's a good point. That is a Family Man killer thing.
Right. But that's enough. And maybe he's thinking that, because that's enough to break him. So we learn that Devereaux is working with the Russian mob to smuggle chemical weapons to Serbian freedom fighters, a.k.a. terrorists, because they're not on our side.
Right.
And Smith, why is he doing it? Why, to get rich, my boy.
So after all this conversation, Smith's just being very coy, just being very acute about it. And he's just like, okay, just call me that ambulance now. You can take off. And Jim reveals he's been recording the whole conversation on a Zippo lighter, by the way.
Yeah. And Cole is just like, he's like, look, I want you out of my life. You call off the guns. You leave me alone. I'll leave you alone. And he's like, well, I can do that, but can you call that ambulance for me? You can hobble to a hospital. They just take off.
Now, they go to a nice little bar, a dive bar, and Cole calls up Devereaux from a payphone. And he's got the recording with the conversation with Smith.
Right.
And he plays it for him, and he just lets Devereaux hear it. And what does he get out of this?
Well, but what he says is, I'm not interested in you. It's because I guess Donald tried to kill him. He's like, it's personal with me, and he killed his ex-wife. He's like, so I don't give a shit about you. Give up Donald, with
the murder weapon.
With the murder weapon, so I can pin it on him, and we're cool. Right. And he's like, hey, I like that. Meet me at this like hotel downtown.
Yeah, it was an apartment.
Okay. So Jim is like, what's going on? What are we doing? And then he's like, Grasshopper. Because we didn't have to mention he calls him Grasshopper throughout the fucking.
Throughout. After the first conversation where he's full respect, like, you're my equal, he totally turns it into, you're my grasshopper now.
Right. He's like, why are we playing mind games? We got the evidence. Why don't we just arrest everybody? This reminds me of old Persian philosophy that became the game chess. Young warriors are used to fighting head on, but old warriors like to wait. Let their opponents expose the board, work themselves into a corner. It's the art of war, Sun Tzu. You've read it?
Oh, we gotta bore him to death? So fucking bad.
Hey, don't worry, we're in the final stretch here.
Okay, guys, half a page left. Not even. But yeah, so Jim thinks on that as Cole leaves, and he finishes up his Jack and Coke, and he's like, I got an idea. And he walks over the phones. I said it earlier. The audio recordings, we don't even get audio like this today. We had some fucking goober come
Unless
up
you're listening to our show. It's
of course, perfect audio on our show. We had some goober come up to us with the worst audio ever and say, I need you on my show. Okay, what do you want us to do? We'd be glad to help out. I don't know. Do you want to be on our show or do you want us on your show? I don't know.
Yeah, it was very vague. If you're listening, figure out what you want to do and get back to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we're happy.
We're more than happy to guest on your show. We're going to take over. Sorry, but as this happens. But if you want the G&G bump, we're more than happy to
accommodate.
Yeah.
It's just we need to have solid.
Yeah, I don't want it like I'm talking to AI.
Yeah.
Basically.
We've been on multiple shows and they say, hey, let's talk about this. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's it. That's all you need.
So Jim calls in with that perfect fucking audio yak back recording.
Add a little reverb, though. I noticed.
A little reverb just to make it spooky. He calls up Don because they called up Deverell with Don's recording,
Right.
or Smith's recording, and now they're calling up Don with Deverell's recording. So they're working down the line of succession here.
Right, because they want to get everybody.
Yeah. And so they just let Don hear it. And then he says, guess your ass got... Guess your... You say it.
Guess your ass just got sold down the river. So Donald's pissed at Deverell because Deverell's ready to sell him out. He doesn't give a shit.
Ka-choo! Next morning.
Next morning, we're at that hotel / apartment building / just a fucking building.
It's just the building.
And Deverell and his crew arrived, and they walk into the room they're supposed to be meeting at.
It's supposed to look like a fucking mob walking into the room, slow motion, everything. They keep cutting over to fucking Al Leong just chewing on a bag of Funyuns.
But it was nice to give him that role.
I loved it.
I'm just glad he wasn't chewing on deer peanuts. He was chewing on Funyuns. Do you really chew? I mean, I guess you do chew, but you really gnaw on them? They're not
Depending on what
Are
kind,
they stale? Are they really super stale?
I gotta tell you, if they're the flaming hot Funyuns, I fucking really savor those motherfuckers. So,
I could have swore he was eating Bugles. Was it Funyuns?
it might have been Bugles.
Okay, because I saw that he put some on his fingers to make them like little pointy fingers.
Oh, you know what? That makes sense. I
Yeah.
watched the YouTube version, so I didn't have the Laserdisc.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're different cuts.
Different
But it's all just about Al Young snacks. There's at least 5 cuts where he does different snacks. One's Jolly Ranchers. And he's like licking them. He's not even putting them in his mouth. He's just licking them.
There is
Like
only
a cat. He's like,
There is only one Jolly Rancher. It's the watermelon one. None of the other Jolly Rancher flavors are good.
I'm fine with them. So, yeah, so Deverell's waiting, allegedly, he thinking Cole, but Donald walks in with his goons.
Well, you know, he's expecting Donald to be there. He expects Donald to be there.
No, he's not, because he's surprised. Like, Donald, what are you doing here? Because he's going to sell Donald out.
Murray, he's not surprised by that. He's surprised that he locks him in.
But no, because the whole point was he was going to sell Donald out, so why would he want Donald in the room with him?
Oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, Donald, what are you doing? He's like, you're going to fucking sell me out, weren't you? Donald, baby, of course not. And then Donald just shoots him in the chest.
Murray goes full on Shakespeare first. He starts telling him, oh, that is thou lie that thou tell to thou hitman. It's right out of Hamlet, right?
Okay, wow.
I
I don't know.
poisoned
You
the
just said
grape.
thou 5 times.
That makes it Hamlet.
Prithee thee, you rapscallion, you scoundrel. You thoughteth you were going to turneth on me? I turneth on you. And then he shoots Deverell in the chest. Wait, and our buddies, they're listening and giggling. They're on the, because there's 2 doors to this apartment.
Yes.
And they're like, Jim's like, should we go in there? No, let it play out.
Right. So they shoot, but then everybody calms down right after. So they're having another standoff, and Cole loses his cool. He's like, all right, 1, 2, 3. Bust in. Very much like the school shooter scene. Everybody just like calms down, puts their guns down. Seagal's still waving his gun at everybody.
He just starts opening fire and shooting everybody.
Yeah. As soon as everybody's
lot-
like, I'm willing to talk, he shoots.
He's all about just killing people. There's a lot of tube TV abuse. There's a lot of stove abuse in this movie because Seagal grabs a stove, throws it, rips it off the wall, throws it down the ground, and uses it as cover.
Yes.
And I have a feeling I don't remember, but I have a feeling this is his move that he does in every movie, but I don't remember, where when he has to reload, he puts his hand up in the line of fire with his gun, pushes the button so the clip falls out, goes down, reloads. He does it at least 3 times in this scene.
Yeah, you're right.
He's not even looking. He's just shooting people dead in the heart.
Yeah.
Everyone's in. Fucking Devereaux gets shot in the head in this. I don't know who shoots him. Either it was Don or fucking Cole.
I actually did replay on that one to make the notes accurate on that. Because I was like, wait, who shot Devereaux? The villains, again, in this movie are pointless.
Yeah. Showing how pointless are. Don grabs one just as fucking protection. He's like running out the room, holding a guy in front of him who's catching every bullet that Seagal is shooting.
Yeah.
And then he escapes.
So now we're following. So Jim and Cole have to go through the apartment complex and try to find Don. We follow Jim first, who gets a jump scare by a couple little kids who, say they tell him to freeze, and they have little toy guns and everything. Jim, of course, waves his gun at them, and then he points out, "What is this fucking showdown on Sesame Street? Big Bird gonna pop out at any moment here."
And he does shame the one kid for having dreadlocks. He's like, "You little Whoopi Goldberg looking motherfucker."
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed that out.
And Jim sees a door just a little ajar, and he's like, "That's got to be." Why wouldn't he just fucking run out the building? Why would Donald be hiding in the building?
Right. It's October, the window's open, breeze is coming in. He's like, oh, he jumped out that window. He gets real close to it, and then you just hear, hello, peekaboo. Turns around, Don shoots him in the chest. He goes flying out that window.
Well, he shoots him in the shoulder because
it went right through.
It went right through, so don't worry about it. He falls out the window. He's hanging on a ledge. Somehow Cole is on the roof. Thankfully, much like Howie Long brings his parachute everywhere he's at, he brings his rappelling gear.
Yeah, we see this scene. He's got a gun in his hand on the roof randomly.
Does every apartment building have rappelling gear up on the roof?
Usually not.
Okay.
So, like you said, he brought it.
Yeah.
And suddenly he has gloves on and rappelling gear that goes perfectly down right to the
Stuntman had the shiniest wig on.
Shiny. Condition to hell.
Yeah.
Adam Cole might leave.
Oh, no.
He said that Bobby Fish asked Adam Cole and the other guy, the dragon guy.
Right now, everyone's like, "Why are you talking about this right now?
Maybe we should talk.
Maybe we should talk about this.
You want to wrap it up?
Off mic. Yeah, I want to wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
Because I got big news for the end.
Oh, okay.
So he starts rappelling down, grabs Jim. They
pop through a window and everything. Don't worry, comedic bits are not over yet.
Yeah, they could have just went just down to the ground.
They could've.
He has to go through a window. We see an old lady. I think it was the same old lady who the Predator busted through her apartment.
Right, with Danny Glover.
Right.
And they pop in there, and of course, we've already had one Seagal's tackling through a window scene. Now we have this, and both scenes have some kind of, "Are you happy to see me, or is that your gun?" type scene.
Yeah. You read that line really well.
I know, I read it perfectly. It was just a really good joke.
Is that a gun in your pants? You're happy to see me. That flows a little better.
Oh, does that flow a little better, Murray?
For me, it does.
For you, it does.
So, all right, let's fucking end it. So,
Cole rappels all the way down to the ground.
Yeah.
He goes in the front door.
Why did he have to? I guess it was just for that great dick joke. Like, why did he have to ruin that poor woman's apartment just for a dick joke?
Just for a dick joke.
Yeah.
So then he goes back, rappels down to the ground, goes in the front door, chain locks it with the fucking.
Well, we don't see that. All we do, we just cut away, and we see Donald in the lobby. He's like, "That's them, scot free. There's the doors right there." Runs by the. That's the thing. Is it an apartment or is it a fucking hotel? Because there's a front desk.
I know. It's set up like it is a hotel.
This is the bizarre setup period because there's a wrought iron gate inside the building.
Yeah. They call it an apartment, but it operates like a hotel because there is a fucking secretary at the desk, the old guy with the fucking stove.
And he's asking about the sheets constantly. So we see that old guy, hair quotes, reading a paper as Donald walks by him, and then he sees that the doors are chained shut.
Right.
And then the newspaper goes down. We just see his eyes above it, little winks at us. It's fucking Cole.
Donald tells him, "I'm going to take care of you like I did your wife."
And then the most epic slap fight you've ever heard, and you're going to hear it. takes place. This is where I think this is why I asked if Jim Henson was involved, because occasionally Sensei lifts his feet off the ground to kick, which I've never seen him do.
Rarely.
In
in like a full shot, definitely not.
And he's kicking. Of course, he's just because we all know Sensei never sells.
Never.
He's pummeling the shit out of this fucking guy. But Donald gets one single punch in, and it's a good one because it makes Sensei's nose bleed. And I want bravo. This was a realistic looking nosebleed because it dribbles all the way down to his chin. Not that bullshit where it just goes out like a quarter inch and it stops. It goes but he no sells it. Totally doesn't act like he's hurt at all.
Right.
And just starts beating the shit out of him again.
Literally, what we're talking about here, they're doing like heavy fucking bassy sound effects of him punching Donald in the face. He's easily grabbing him like he's a sack of 10-pound laundry, throwing him across an apartment, across the ovens and shit. It's manhandling. It's devastating shit.
And he allows Donald to put his hands on his throat. They're
off.
dueling throats. Yeah, he likes it rough.
Yep.
They're both strangling each other. And then Sensei goes, "You're not going to be waking up happy now." Because he's like, yeah. Well, there's a scene where when he gets punched in the nose, he's like, "Oh, I bet you wake up happy when you murder somebody." He's like, I wake up with a smile. I love what I do.
I wake up and I got 2 over easy eggs waiting for me. Bacon, spinach,
little fried deer penis, and that sets fucking Cole off.
You can't do that, dude.
Deer penis is for spiritual people. It's not just for eating.
You're not going to be waking up happy tomorrow, friend.
All right, I don't know what's going on with the architecture of this fucking build. I don't know if Salvador Dali put this shit together.
What the fuck is this?
They're like in a room that's above the fucking front desk.
Yeah. The lobby area, if you will.
So they're elevated. They're like, and there's a big like smoked glass window
overlooking into said lobby.
Yes, that has a wrought iron fucking gate.
For some reason.
Like fence all around it.
Yes.
And there's wrought iron in front of this fucking smoked glass window for some reason. I guess it just looks great.
It just looks
Salvador Dali, he's surrealist.
Yeah, that's right.
Hurls him through the window. The fucking wrought iron all of a sudden turns to rubber. It's like the fakest looking wrought iron. It's totally like flapping. And then we just hear thud. And then we cut up to Seagal, and we pull back. He's looking down, and remember, guys, this is a comedy.
It's funny.
It's funny that Donald is impaled through his chin up into his brain on the wrought iron fucking fence that for some reason is inside a building.
It was really funny. I really laughed at this one.
Yeah, it was funny.
And Jim shows up, and he laughs too. Hey, you fucking murdered that guy.
He didn't even say stick around. He didn't. How did he not have he was bombarding us with bad jokes. He didn't have a joke for this one.
Nothing. So we go back outside. Jim has actually succumbed to a multitude of injuries, so he's being loaded into an ambulance and everything. Harris season shows up. He gives a half apology. Sorry, I accused you of murdering your ex-wife. I should have noticed this Donald guy. His pubes were all over the scene.
Yeah, but I'm still not going to apologize. Yeah. I just want to let you know I'm aware that I might have been wrong.
This isn't a real apology. It's a fake apology.
So Jim is just pointing out, you know what? My life was so good before. Now I'm homeless. I got internal injuries. I got shot, but don't worry. I went all the way through. I'm going to live. And then Cole just looks at him with a smirk and says, hey, yeah, but you got to taste powdered deer penis.
Murray? One?
You need those notes. What are you doing?
You're
Tear
right.
up my notes, you idiot.
3.
Okay.
4. 5. Fucking Christ.
Time. Give me the time.
2:27.
All right, because I'm going to go on for a half hour about what we're going to be doing in October. So we're going to get that 3 hours. No, I'm not. But, all right, October. You know what happens in October on Golan-Globus Theater.
A little on something we call Schlocktober.
Where we put aside the action. Some of you guys disappear for a month.
Yeah, you know what? We're lustful motherfuckers. All but 2 months out of the year.
Yeah.
We're lusting for the action.
Yeah.
But we have our black exploitation, which also kind of sates our needs.
Yeah, that's action.
Because they're usually...
First of all, it's all kinds of action.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I'm just saying. It's a different genre of action, though.
Sometimes we need a break. We need a breather. We need to collect ourselves. We need to talk about another genre. And the perfect time would be in October, or should I say, Schlocktober. We do horror. If you've been with us, this is our 5th annual Schlocktober.
This is 5 fucking years.
Right, so it deserved a theme. And you know, Griff, I'm jaded. I've seen it all. I've been there. I've done that. So I had to pick something that's so weird, that's a genre that's so strange that it'll surprise me, because these movies make absolutely no sense, and that's why I like it. We're entering into the world of Italian horror all month. Well, we're going to do a couple tippy taps that won't be Italian, but will fit in to the genre.
Okay.
So Schlocktober, not only Schlocktober, it's Gialloween, Griff, because we are going to be doing some giallos. The whole month won't be giallos, and I'll explain what a giallo is when we get to Schlocktober.
Tease.
And we're going to be opening with a great tippy tap, by the way, too, which I think I alluded to in the beginning of the episode. So we're going to be having names like Argento, Fulci, Bava, Frank Drew White from Maniac Killer.
Okay.
We're probably going to have a guest on that one. I'm working on it. You know our resident expert on Frank Drew White. And Ginty.
That's right.
He will probably be showing up. I don't know.
Excellent.
First movie. We're starting out slow. This is a true giallo, by the way.
Giallo Buffra?
Giallo, which I will explain next week. The world of dance, Griff, we know it's cutthroat. People are willing to kill to get in that next great dance thing.
Center stage. No, it's all about being center stage. You don't want to be a backup dancer, Murray. You want to be center spotlight.
This is a Fulci movie. I know everyone got, oh my God, they're going to do Zombie 2. The zombie with the shark? No, that's been done before.
Yeah, it's been done.
Been there, done. They're going to do it The Beyond. No, we're going to start you out slow with a little lesser known Fulci movie, but it's got a lot of tits in it. It's got a lot of 80s shit, which you know I have an 80s fetish. So I'm like, this is like porn to me, this movie.
Are these tits too good to be real?
There is a good pair in there. And there's a lot of piercing of tits in this movie with murder weapons.
Oh, okay.
Close-ups. So if you're not going to enjoy it, listeners, I'm going to enjoy it, because there's a lot of trashy 80s broads with it's just fucking big hair and leg warmers, Griff, which is what I love. So I'll be enjoying next week. Of course, it's called Murder Rock, a.k.a. Flashdance.
Ooh, I like that name.
Well, it came out a year after Flashdance, because we were talking about trends that like are really huge. Flashdance was really big.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about that as well.
Interesting.
So we're going to let you off the hook for now. I know you're tired of hearing us talk. Tune in. I can't wait. Make sure you listen to that tippy tap first before we get to fucking Murder Rock. It's going to be a good one. It's one of my favorites. You know, if you know me, you know who I'm talking about. See you for Schlocktober, Halloween, and keep it whoa.